Bring that energy.
All right. Welcome to the Damaged Goods podcast. This is a daytime edition. We usually record at night, so give us all a break. We're all a little tired, all a little groggy, but we're going to get through it. I am your host, Jessica Robert, which is kind of like Jessica Rabbit, but with way less tits and self-confidence. Mm-hmm. And with me, like always, is the pasta prince himself.
Yeah.
Ill Vibe.
I like that. I'm going to make a shirt that says that.
Pasta prince, eh?
Before we get right into it, I'd just like to say happy Pride to our LGBT friends all over the world.
And the Qs. Don't forget the Qs.
And the Qs. There's Qs plus as well. So I just, it's a mouthful. So everyone, happy Pride to everyone.
Happy Pride to the straights too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Everybody. Today is the parade at downtown Toronto, and of course, it's pouring rain like it usually does.
God's protesting once again.
Big shout out to everyone who is braving the storm, both metaphorically and literally, for the fight for equal rights. Anyways, this is our 12th podcast, I believe, right? Or is it 11th? 11th. And
I should have let you go with 12th, and people will be like, what's the 11th one?
It is our 11th podcast, 1-1. Big thanks, as always, to lyricvids.com, the web's number one lyric video animation company.
Good people.
And finally, so today we have a very special guest. He is one of our closest friends.
You just say that about everyone.
Maybe not the closest.
But now we mean it in like a short buzz way.
Yeah. He is an amazingly talented producer and recording artist. And his name is Myer Clarity.
What?
Hi, everybody. Myer Clarity here. Eat your greens. Listen to your parents.
If you want to look him up while you're listening to this, his Instagram is @MyerClarity. He's also @MyerClarity on all social media. Spotify is Myer Clarity, and website is www.myerclarity.com.
And for those of you who eat your ice cream with a fork, Myer is spelled Myer. Clarity spelled like a...
How do other people spell it?
I've had
How do
it all
other people eat their
ways.
ice cream?
Like, I've had it like Meyer.
I love when I see like a fan or somebody's like, right?
my name
yeah,
up.
I guess it's Oscar Mayer or whatever.
Yeah,
like.
I had a J in there once. It was Myjer.
My Clarity has a first name.
Like Mike.
It's Myer.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of ways. Mire.
I like that we coordinated in our yellows today.
Yeah.
Our yellows and reds.
This is the only yellow shirt I own. But.
So we don't often have guests over that are in a rap group with me. This is one of the only people I'm in a rap group with.
No, it's true.
Nepotism.
What does nepotism mean?
Nepotism means that you got your gains from your family and not through hard labor.
Oh, I used it in a rap recently, and I loosely understood that it's what it meant.
Explain it again. You got your...
It's basically attaining the success you have through like a connection, usually family,
like Trump,
as opposed to like working.
Oh,
you know
right. I was trying to understand the relation to you being in a rap group with him. And no,
I don't know if it's relevant, but
I'm just kidding around.
Well, no, as in like you're on the podcast through connections.
You did not earn your place here. Yeah. Now I understand. You know what? So this last segment has been 30 seconds of Jess and I getting caught up to your sense of humor.
There you go.
So an album of yours came out recently.
Yes, it did. Not All Heroes Wear Capes, Part 1 came out last Friday, 2 days ago.
Sweet. How many parts is there going to be?
I don't know yet. I'm thinking 4, but
really,
I could get bored.
4.
And leave it.
I thought it was 3.
It changes every time. It's either 4 or 3.
That part.
Yeah, we'll see.
That part. So for people who are a fan of me musically, who maybe you've heard Myer's name, maybe you haven't, maybe you know him really well, in which case I'm not talking to you. But for everybody else, Myer is the executive producer of all my music. He made 2/3 of the beats on Anti-Gravity. He produced our joint album, We Are the Aliens. He produces the stuff I'm working on now for next year, and for the other artists like Megan Nora and Graydon that are on the label. Myer's our guy on the music side. We call him the evil genius.
I'm the guy.
Half evil, half genius. His penis is the evil part.
But not the genius part.
No, it's not. I imagine it's not too genius.
No.
I don't think any penises are genius.
My penis
Einstein's penis was probably a genius.
is genius. I call it a penis.
Penis.
Okay, that's all I got.
If you dip your penis in ink and you write out a very complex quadratic equation,
Wow.
do you have a smart penis?
Yes, I think yes. That
Well,
would be the qualifying.
Which is like really
Done.
good motor
That's what I
skills.
did that last night. That's what I do in my spare time. When you're out doing comedy, I'm working on my penis calligraphy. Cock calligraphy is a big art in 2019.
There's a pun, but I can't think of it right
I know.
now.
I was trying to. I was like calligraphy.
Yeah, I went with whenever.
Like,
you know how my
that
brain works.
pun life.
Calligraphalis? No.
I know that's kind of the direction I was going into. But
It goes like this: if you can't find a pun, you move down to alliteration. It's an easier joke, and you can get it out quicker.
There you go.
That's how I do it.
that is good advice.
So if I ever say cock calligraphy, it's because I couldn't think of something better.
I love how you guys are both promoting like childhood brands of mine, like Wendy's and Play-Doh.
Today's episode brought to you by Peter Pan syndrome.
This isn't Wendy's. This is Skinner's steamed hams.
Oh,
It's a Simpsons shirt, yeah.
Simpson shirt, yeah. But it looks like the Wendy's.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a pretty clean shirt for you.
Yeah, well, I just bought it. It's my most recent shirt.
Wow.
Nice.
Well, Myer loves you if he's wearing his most recent shirt to hang out with you. So when you hang out with him, ask him, how recently did you buy that shirt? Because if he's like, oh, this is old, you now know where you stand in Myer's
this
circle of
old
friends.
thing? Yeah, fuck you.
If he says, I just bought this today, you mean a little something to him.
yeah.
I don't know if we mean something or
no, we
if
don't.
our fan base maybe.
Yeah, our immense fan base is who he's dressing for.
You guys are putting way too much meaning into this whole thing.
We just like to pick apart what we have before we dive into our various topics. So we just got back from Europe.
I didn't change underwear.
Oh, I just did something really rude for the podcast, and I want to apologize to the listeners. I was just chewing my ice cubes into the microphone. So I'm sorry. I'm going to stop doing that now. Sorry. You guys just got back from Europe.
And I'm going to start.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we did.
So in last episode, I had just gotten back from Europe. So for anybody listening along, I was back for quite some time, and then we went back just for like 2 weeks. Myer and I, we rocked it in the south of France. It was a blast at an event called Midem. The first time I ever went to Midem, I came back on an airplane. That's how you come back from France, on an airplane.
Typically.
And they showed a movie based on this Brazilian singer. And what was really cool is on the airplane, watching this movie, coming back from Midem, having had this amazing music experience, the movie's about this Brazilian singer who goes to Midem to make it.
Oh, really?
And it's like she's from like the 1960s or something. I think now if you lived in Brazil, you'd be like, oh, of course, she's so-and-so. They're all-time great. It's like their Celine Dion or their Whitney Houston or whatever. And she goes to Midem to make it, and I was flying back from Midem. So this is our third trip out there. And I only say that to give context to people who've never heard of this thing, that this is often where the world superstars go to make it.
Yeah.
And also where lowlifes like us go to hang around those people and hopefully get them to sing choruses on our albums.
Yeah, we're basically like seagulls going for an open thing of French fries on a boardwalk.
And the opening of French fries is like musical genius.
Yeah. And we're just like shitting on people. And
I don't
So, yeah.
think you guys are giving yourselves enough credit.
Well, I only mean that when I say, Diana Ross was discovered here and Celine Dion came down here to showcase early on, and then this lady from Brazil. So the world's greatest voices. I am not amongst those, but I do like to go down and learn in the same environment as those people and network in the same kind of universe. And we had a blast, and I got a lot out of it. I booked a show. I booked a festival in the Netherlands for next April.
huge.
Booked something, I think, in the Cayman Islands, but I'm waiting for some more information about that before I get too excited. And just like a lot of really fun stuff comes from being around those people. And then you flew home.
And then I flew home. I was very sick at the end of the
You
trip.
did. You got sick.
I got a stomach bug, and I couldn't like tolerate any food or liquids for like 24 hours.
But you didn't have to fly home early, right? Like you were flying home that time.
No, yeah, I was
right?
flying home on the time.
Oh, shitty. Well, at least it was at the end of the trip.
Yeah, and like we had a 16-hour layover in Brussels, so we just got like a hotel room.
Was it due to the airstrikes?
No, we just I'm a shitty plane booker. So
Oh, you didn't book the right. Yeah. Next time, totally. If you're not good at it, I will gladly weigh in because I'm pretty good at not getting screwed in layovers. But I did get screwed in a layover, even though it wasn't my fault. So what happened is there was a strike in the south of France, and anyone who's ever been to France, there are strikes in France constantly,
all the time.
like all the time. One of their industries is striking, and this particular industry, the air industry, which affects us travelers through France, every single summer. They have a big strike like this.
Do you know why that is? That
I don't know why that
France are
is.
striking all the time?
I imagine that maybe they were lagging behind on like union
stuff. Yeah.
policies, whatever is
Right.
common, because they really seem to be trying to like get caught up every year. I mean, it's kind of like here in Canada, how every year we had education strikes because the teachers really felt that they were underpaid, and so they really went at it for like 4 or 5 years, and they seem to have relaxed a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong about that. But the air people,
I remember there was a time when it was like
constantly. The air people in France have not yet reached that point.
No, they just want to be able to smoke in the airport.
Yeah, that's the main thing they're striking against. Yeah. So I got stuck in Cannes, France. Well, I got stuck in Nice, France, at the airport in Nice, which is just 45 minutes down the road from Cannes, where I was. I arrive at the airport only to find out that the flight's going to be a few hours late.
Hey.
And then, of course, a few hours late turns into it's not coming at all. And what's really interesting, though, is when you hit refresh on your phone, here you are in a foreign country, and you go, well, when's the next flight? Like, I'll be chill. I'll go hang out somewhere and come back in 12 hours. No worries. Yeah, the next flight was in 36 hours.
Wow.
And it's like you can't spend 2-3 days getting to the next place when you've already paid for accommodation. I've got a flight home from Barcelona where I was headed. So what's the next best option? I start running Google. Trains have now gone up to 600 euros because all the flights are canceled. Wow. So it runs the train rates.
The train surge like Uber?
Yeah, exactly. It was on a serious surge.
600 euro for the train is outlandish.
Yeah, and it's like from Nice to Barcelona is not that far.
Yeah.
So then I check the bus rates, and the bus rates every time I refresh are going up because same thing, the demand's going up, they're getting booked up. So all the 100 euro ones get booked, the 150 euro ones start getting booked, I book one. Well, the one that I book is no problem. It takes me through a place called, I'll never remember. It takes me through a small town in France, and I have to transfer to another bus that's going to take me to Barcelona. No sweat. Until I get to that place, and I realize, there's a 4.5 hour layover, 5.5 hour layover at the bus station in Place de whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I get to the bus station. Not a bus station, parking lot. Parking lot in the middle of nowhere.
Oh no! So you just had to wait there?
Yeah, there was no power, there was no lights, they just pretty much just like get off. It was me and this old married couple who spoke no English got off the bus, and we're kind of looking at each other like, whoa, what's this all about? But I do see that at 8 a.m. or whatever, the next bus comes, and it's like 2:30 or 3:30.
Is this in the middle of the night? And
middle of the night, 3:30 in the morning.
That's sketchy.
An hour after they set us up. So what I do is I sit on a brick, and I set up my luggage in front of me, and I set up this exact laptop right here. There's probably a little dust on it right now from that parking lot. On the luggage, and I watch the movie Red Sparrow. Good movie, a little rapey. You do get to see Jennifer Lawrence's titties, so I feel like there's some exchange there.
I don't think you should say those two things one after another.
Well, I'm saying one was negative, one was positive.
Right.
I'm saying I wish there was less rape, but I appreciated the titties. The titties weren't during the rape. Also, let me say that.
The titties make the rape
important.
The titties weren't during the rape.
That is important to mention.
Yeah, there was also was titties, and I have a big crush on her, and so I took that as like, well, that's a little win. Here I'm in this parking lot. I got to see some titties. I almost got to see some other titties.
So you're watching porn in a parking lot in the middle of the night?
Yes. When a prostitute pulls up in front of me, this is her spot. This is her shift. And so she's like 30 feet across from me, across the road. And she just starts picking these guys up. And it was this really interesting experience. We spent like 4 hours watching this lady. And every 25 minutes she comes back and she's giving me a look. And the guys who pull over and don't buy, they'll give me a look because they're like pulling off. Yeah. And so I sort of feel like I'm acting as a deterrent. And then at a certain point, she gives up and she leaves. My bus comes, I leave. So this is my adventure that I had in the south of France.
That's the shittiest bus stop ever.
Yeah, so a 1 hour flight turned into 20 hours of bus, including my shenanigans with my friend. We'll call her Lisa. Well, how would you say Lisa in French? Is it Lisa?
Lisa.
Lisa. So my friend Lisa. I don't know if that's her name at all. I feel like I got to know her a little bit. So. Anyways, that's my experience in the south of France. Not nearly as amazing as the Google image search would lead you to believe it might be.
Bus rides and small town hookers.
Do you guys remember that time? Where was it? Where I lost my bag because it was pouring rain and they were like shouting at us to get out of the bus. Where was that?
That was
Belgium.
Yeah, so it was like pouring rain, like torrential downpour, and we had camera equipment on us. We had some other stuff, so we basically were like covering ourselves in our coat. And the bus, of course, is like pulling over in the middle of nowhere. We'd have to run through the rain to get anywhere.
Yeah.
So we're like running through the rain, and of course, just as the bus is pulling away, I'm like, I left a bag on the bus.
You left a backpack.
I left a backpack, and fortunately, it was kind of best case scenario as far as what I could have left in a backpack. I lost
makeup.
Yeah, I lost all my makeup, which does suck because, you have to like go out and buy new stuff, especially because we were going to be there for another few weeks.
Yep.
I lost a watch of yours, which sucked, and a couple articles of clothing, which also
My
sucks.
Haley Sacer pants. I actually
know.
repurchased those pants again when I came home because I loved them so much.
Yeah.
Facts. So that does happen. And this whole trip, I kept, because I have that burned in my memory, I kept doing the, did I leave a bag?
Do I have everything?
Everywhere I went. Because the first time you do that, you go, oh no. Like,
It's almost
oh no,
important
I just
to,
left
like-
a bag with a bunch of my stuff in that place I can't go back to 1 minute ago. You can almost reach back in time and
Right.
grab it.
Totally.
It's right there.
Oh, trust me. I am feeling that right now. Right before we recorded this podcast, I accidentally deleted some very important footage.
We don't know that you deleted it. We know it's not there.
Yes.
There's some footage not there that we were looking for.
For
Yes,
liability
for sure.
purposes.
We don't
Yeah.
know who deleted it, but we know
Yes,
there's not.
there was a glitch as does happen, and some footage got lost. So
Jess's favorite catchphrase
Yeah.
these days is
it's a glitch.
It's a glitch.
Yeah, he always makes fun of me because basically anything that goes wrong on a computer or a video game,
Yeah.
instead of just like taking responsibility for the thing, I'm always
It's a
like,
glitch.
it's a glitch. And you have to admit,
It came out of the sky, took all my lives and my points. I don't know what happened.
80% of the time, it actually is a glitch because I'll call him over to help me and he'll be like, this better be good. And then he'll come over and it actually is some weird thing that he's never seen before.
Yeah.
It's better be good is a really good impression of me. That's definitely what I say. Because a lot of the time I'm either working really hard or playing pinball. And in either case, I'm very focused.
Fair
and
enough.
she'll say something like, After Effects is doing something it's never done
It's a
before.
glitch.
And it's like, Jess, it never does something it's never done before. It's
Yeah.
software.
Yeah.
But occasionally, I would not say 80% of the time, but occasionally, you're right, that is doing some crazy shit.
Most of the time I'm right. There is some times where he's just like, no, you're just not doing this thing right. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
I'm the worst with that, though. I'm always yelling at my computer
Yeah.
and just like verbally abusing it. I'm gonna
That's fair.
fucking melt you down and turn you into a fucking diet RC cola can, you piece of shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
So much
Mine's a
rage.
little more PG, but I definitely get the computer rage.
Oh yeah. It's...
I used to get more of it. These days, I find it's quick enough most of the time to appease my rage. Because there was a minute where, even using big software on a MacBook, like the amount of buffer time loading up, Premiere Pro or Photoshop, like 2 years ago would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
And now it's pretty good. We've gotten to the point where if you're still mad at it, you have patience problems because it takes like 12 seconds to open up. This computer takes like 1 second to turn on. The new TVs take 1 second and you're like into all your favorite shit.
I'm still on like older shit. So
Yeah,
that's
working on
probably
it, bro. When that album goes triple plutonium or
Yeah.
whatever. What's the rock in the Wakanda? What's that rock? Do you know what that shit's called?
Oh, it's vibranium.
Vibranium.
Yeah.
So when your record goes vibranium, I don't know how many. That's a lot of units. I don't know how many units that is.
Yeah, that's I don't even know. But funny anecdote about outdated computers. My girl never believed me that like my computer was a real piece of shit, like my Lappy. And so she'd always be like, "Why are you fucking yelling at it? Just chill out." And I'm like, "No, it's the slowest, worst thing ever. I hate it." And then when we were in France, she had to finish this essay for
I remember
class.
that.
And she asked to borrow my computer, and like I'm just napping, and she's working in the corner, and she comes back just like, "Okay, I understand. Like your computer is fucking giving me a panic attack. It is the worst."
You got a new one though.
Yeah, I got a new one.
Finally.
Sweet.
About time.
It feels good when you get new electronics. I try not to be that guy who always wants a new phone, who wants a new technology. And I think if you get too locked into that, the dudes and the women, most people I've known have been guys, where it's like they've got the newest Samsung phone, but then when the 9 Plus comes out 4 months later, they need to trade in for that.
Yeah,
There's a certain level where I feel like, yeah, you're a slave to Samsung's like updates.
Yeah.
I try not to be that person where I'm like, oh, new technology, I need all of it. But it does feel good. I think because we're all content creators and musicians and other
Yeah.
things where it's like, oh, now there's less things getting in the way
Yeah,
of my
that's the thing.
ideas.
When you get to a point where all the programs that you're using are updating according to that new software, you know what I mean? According to that new phone, according to that new Mac or whatever, then you almost are forced to upgrade because you know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like everything's being created to work perfectly with the newer thing,
What I love
sourcing you out.
Yeah.
What I love, and I know I think you'll relate to this on the production side, is the way things have gone to subscription model. A lot of the software that I used to use, I pirated it because the version that I could buy as a non-student was $1,200.
Yeah.
And now, for $50 US a month, we have all of the Adobe apps that we use for everything from cartoon making to video, animation. I use it to record this podcast, Audition, Photoshop, Illustrator. for that one fee. And whenever they do updates, they're automatic. And if I ever do have a problem, there's like a live chat thing where they can actually log on and fix the problem. That happened to me once. So I get better service for less upfront money.
Yeah.
Now, long term, I think it's still better to buy it versus subscription if you really know you're going to be using it for years at a time, you know. But I really like that because I went from pirating to, I can't afford to buy all of these different pieces of software. So I like the subscription model. Same thing with the video games that we could never afford to buy. We're not heavy gamers. And so we can't allocate, $400, $500, $600 a month to buy 5 new platform titles a month. But through subscription model, like EA, the Xbox Live, and the other one we use, I think it's called Game Pass, for $22 a month, you've played so many new games, way beyond what that would cost us, or way under what that would cost us if we were to go buy those games. And so I think it's interesting the way that Netflix, EA Sports, Adobe, these huge billion-dollar companies have clearly crunched the numbers.
And you know that like subscription,
you can charge less if everybody uses it, and it's really kind of a win-win in a lot of ways.
Actually,
Porn
that's a
did it
really good.
first.
That's a really good.
Porn did a lot of things first.
Totally. That's a really good segue into actually a topic that I wanted to talk about, and that's that new. I always love talking about like the new apps that we see that are out that are kind of crowdsourcing and kind of creating new businesses that we didn't realize would exist. And one of the ones that we saw recently was the storage one, where it's just basically like the Airbnb or like Uber of storage, where like so let's say you have like let's say you're moving, or maybe you're going to go live in like California to do music stuff for like a year or something.
That's a pretty real example.
Yeah, no, totally. Because that might happen. So you have like, let's say you only have like 6 large boxes or 6 large bins of what you need to store.
They're all filled with spiders.
Just all spiders.
Yeah.
They come to your house, they pick them up, and they store them for like a really reasonable price. Like it's like because they, like you said, when they crunch the numbers and they see that if we make this accessible to everyone and everyone uses it, we'll make way more money than if it were, $2,000 to store your stuff for a month or whatever.
In that case, I think the other thing that they're doing is that's pretty different because that's got the crowdsourcing digital side to it, but it also has the real life side to it. Like my guess is, having not even looked at the business, they've secured shitty low cost property somewhere that you would never want to go store your stuff. That's like, maybe it's hard to get to, maybe it's like on an edge of town that you have to sit in traffic to even go out there. And so they've secured this, and they're able to use it the location differently because people aren't coming and going all day, right? They don't need a customer entrance. They don't need hallways to every single storage unit the way you would get at one of these like mainstream storage locations, because people aren't coming in every single day to pick up their stuff. You know what I mean? You can move things differently when you know people need to give you a bunch of notice they're gonna need their stuff. You can pack it more tightly. You can get more, you know what I mean? So I think it's interesting the way that they can crunch the numbers and come up with a different business model of what's a really old business. We'll just hold on to your shit. But they're doing it differently.
I'm surprised this hasn't been done yet, and that's when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That makes sense that they would become like the Airbnb of storage or the Uber of storage.
My favorite one that I saw, and I screenshotted it when I saw an Instagram ad, and that rarely happens that I see an ad and I like it so much I screenshot it, was the new one. And I can't remember the company's name, so they're not going to get a plug right now. But they're the company that does essentially $9.99, and you get 2 movies a month in Canada. And I think in the US they have something called Movie Pass, where it's unlimited movies for more money. But here in Canada, this new service is $9.99 to, they call them like plus movies a month. So I think it means you can go to 3D or any of the sort of more.
They're just gonna send you Shrek 3 and 4 every month.
It's not DVD sent to your house.
No, it's like
no, you get to go to Cineplex.
The movies,
but for way less money, because you basically subscribe for a full year. You're committing to do 24 movies a year. And so they can give you essentially 70% off. And that's interesting because there's a lot of things I can commit to doing 24
we saw them on Shark Tank, right? I wonder if it's the same company or if it's a competitor. Because I remember seeing them, and I remember us at the time being like, how can they afford to do that? But then we figured it out that if they offer it and so many people do it, they must have crunched the numbers.
It's the Netflix thing, right? Because every network is losing money. Well, no, the networks are making money, but they're making less than before. A lot of movie studios are struggling to make the money they were making before. Netflix comes on the scene, and they can make more money than everybody and charge less. Just based on market saturation. The fact that everybody has a Netflix account. And we were talking about this off podcast. What's interesting about Netflix is they even know for every account that they have, there's like another half ghost account, somebody who's using their information to also access Netflix.
Right.
We don't pay for Netflix at this house. one of your best friends lets us use hers. And there's a million people that do that. So Netflix is making crazy money, spending crazy money. Jerry Seinfeld got $100 million plus.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean? Charging very little, and they know a huge percentage of their customers share their login information, and they don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
They purposefully, because a lot of companies will do the thing where they just log everybody out.
Yeah.
And like sort of force you to kind of log back in.
Yeah.
A lot of my things do that.
Totally.
Netflix never does that. They're just secure on their
Like
money.
Spotify
They're like the
does
most
that,
secure.
right?
Yeah, Spotify did that to a few because we had
Because you can't listen. We can listen on separate devices, but not at the same time.
somebody gave us an app on our phone that was basically Spotify, but it hacked past the ads. So it was free Spotify, no ads.
Oh, nice.
But I think someone alerted Spotify that these existed because they just
Kicked us out.
basically surged the system
Yeah.
and kicked out everybody, including the people who paid. But the paid people can get back in. Everyone else
Yeah.
can't. You know what I
Somebody
mean?
snitched.
But not Netflix. Netflix is so secure on that bag. They're just like, we're good.
Yeah.
They're just
No,
like
it's
making
true.
it rain money,
Yeah.
and we're good.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll fund Adam Sandler's last 2 movies.
Exactly.
They just keep throwing money at Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Well, what did we watch recently? And we're like, it was actually kind of funny. It's the one with Chris Rock.
Oh,
You
yeah.
see that one? We watched it and we were like, it actually, like, it was terrible, but it was almost like
So
funny how
cringe.
terrible it was.
Yeah.
Like, it was good. I liked it.
Okay. We can't talk Netflix without me bringing this up.
Do it.
What? The guy got fired for
No.
dropping the
Oh,
F-bomb?
that's interesting too. But no, way better than that.
Okay, let's put a pin in that because I definitely want to hear about that.
This is way better than that. So last night, Jess and I were watching Netflix, and we stumbled upon something so.
Oh, no.
We stumbled upon something so amazing.
Is it
so
Spaghetti
weird.
Man?
It's a Netflix.
as well
It's
be.
a Netflix original show with 2 whole seasons, 16 episodes.
3 seasons.
Is it 3 seasons?
was 3
So
seasons.
24 episodes of a show called The Sniffer. Let me give you the synopsis.
Okay.
An extraordinary sense of smell gives a crime investigator unique insight into solving mysteries, but his gift takes a toll on his personal life.
And it's exactly what it sounds like. Like anything you're
amazing is
thinking, that is what they're doing. It's all weird episodes
We read-
about him like sniffing out crimes.
We read
I smell
every
crime.
synopsis. We read every single synopsis last night, just dying laughing, bro.
Yeah.
So fucking dumb.
Episode 1. After casually smelling a bomber on his flight, the sniffer is called in by Victor to solve the murder of the head of a large construction company. So we don't even have to watch the episode. Here's what we already know.
He's sitting on a flight.
Yeah, there's a scene where
Bomb.
where he goes at first he's unsure.
Sniff
if-
louder so the listeners can hear.
At first he's unsure. Is this my like spidey sense tingling right now, or am I being extra? But no, he decides, of course, that no, something the fuck is up. My nose has never lied to me, and he
like
probably
your
has a catchphrase
nose,
like
yeah.
that. My nose has never lied to
The
me.
nose knows.
Do you think he
Two
says like follow
nostrils
your
of
nose or any of that?
justice.
Oh, he must have some
Yeah. I think like every episode probably has.
double barrel shotgun references.
Yeah. A whiff of.
A whiff,
Yeah.
a
Whoever
whiff of
smelt
liberty.
it, dealt it.
Episode 2. Victor must solve the murders of 2 important men. They seem related, but the only clue is the cheap tobacco the sniffer smells at both crime scenes. Bruh. So again, it's whole scenes of him doing this.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the same. How do you... Oh,
And there's been 3 seasons. Like that's the crazy part. It's just like, and I thought at first it was maybe like a joke show because it's almost like that.
Yeah.
That's such a like thing where it's just like there's a blind detective who uses his other senses to
like,
solve the
yeah.
crimes. There's a deaf detective one. It's a girl or whatever. That's an actual real one. And there's one with like a seeing eye dog. There's like always like different things like that where they try to give the detective like some kind of weird thing.
Yeah.
Or like an autistic doctor from that one show that you watch and like things like that. So when I saw this one, I'm just like, oh, that must be like a joke kind of making fun of the genre
Nope,
where
it's
it's
just real.
It's real. Like
So bad.
what?
Wow. It's like the end of Sarah Marshall, where it's like she talks to pets to solve crimes.
Yeah, totally.
It's like that level stupid.
Season 2, episode 2. A case of supermarket shoplifting turns into murder.
Wow.
Ready? The sniffer's out of the hospital, but being shaky doesn't stop him from smelling strawberries.
Oh yeah, the strawberries one.
Wow.
So
Okay,
that's the sniffer on Netflix. In case it says 2013. So if there's multiple sniffers, we mean the one that started in
Fair
2013.
enough. I wonder how like he
there's
got
multiple-
Maybe
the
it's a
sniffers.
remake of like a 1960s The Sniffer. I don't know.
That would almost make more sense.
right? How do you think he got his job? Like the first time that he sniffed crime, like he just walked onto a crime scene, like I know who did this, and the cops like, are we just gonna let this guy fucking taint the evidence? Like, what's he doing? He's smelling a fucking used condom under the bed. I know who your man is. And also, how does it affect his personal life?
I want to know.
Yeah.
I smell everything.
Well, no,
Oh, it's true.
By the way,
Girls do fart.
you missed something already because it said right in the synopsis, it takes a toll on his personal life.
Yeah.
So obviously he's out on dates, a girl farts, he knows.
Yeah.
Well, that gives a whole new meaning to the "Let Me Smell Your Dick" song.
Yeah.
Because he could definitely smell if she was fooling.
First of all, get on the mic. You're being an amateur right now.
I was yelling, so I didn't want to yell. Right
so that was
into the
that was
mic.
effective. That was effective.
I think
Yeah,
that's probably like the theme of the show. Let me smell your dick.
Yeah.
Anyways, I want to know about this actor, and because this is clearly, I mean, he's 3 seasons. He's the star of a Netflix show. This is the highlight of his career. Do you think he tells people about that?
Yeah, I'm the nose.
Oh, for sure. Now that it's been 3 seasons, he does. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think this guy is one of those dudes who has like an overinflated sense of ego and he goes into party being like,
I'm the sniffer.
do you think they all know them? Do you think they're all talking about how the sniffer's here right now?
I feel like he's probably just living BoJack Horseman's life.
And he just says to people, I know you think I probably could smell it. Actually, I don't have that same. Like he thinks that people assume that he has that sense of smell, but like really no one knows who the fuck he is.
Plot
It
twist,
is
he
just a
actually
character.
It is
no
just a
sense of
character.
smell.
Yeah, he has
lost his-
zero.
I leave that on the set. Right?
used
I'm
to-
just like you guys.
I used to put crayons in my nose when I was younger, and so I lost my sense of smell. So it's pretty ironic that I got the part.
Oh yeah, he actually can't smell anything.
Yeah.
Wow, that's deep. There should be a Netflix documentary about him now.
I know, right?
So yeah, we should watch an episode at one point, even if just we know we're gonna bail out the minute it gets like too bad to watch.
Yeah.
But I need to watch one episode, maybe the strawberry episode, or maybe we should watch the first episode just to get. I don't know.
Yeah, we should definitely watch it for the next podcast and just like report on how the show was.
Okay, so that's me reporting back about my new favorite thing I found on Netflix. I think I might do this again because I'm also really excited about the fact that Russell Peters has a TV cop show where the premise is Indian policeman while looking for crime finds love instead, starring Russell Peters. I've heard it's not good.
So
I think I'd like to watch a little bit of it and
Doesn't
maybe
sound
report
that
back about
great.
I want to go briefly backwards because I just had a thought about the storage thing. Do you think that like the storage game is like a dangerous game? Because do you know what I mean though? Do they check all your boxes? And I'm sure this is like a known thing that
storage
people
game's a
store
dangerous
like
game.
drugs and
Yeah.
guns and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I think it's not dangerous. Do I think people store sketchy things? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that the storage facility has any responsibility in that, or it's not their problem at all?
I think they have strict rules about what you can store, and they don't check everything. But if anything's found,
They call the police
they
or
call the
whatever.
police,
Yeah.
and it's just like a simple.
I
You know
think
what I mean?
everyone's gonna get bed bugs.
Yeah,
Thanks to that.
there's that too.
Everyone's gonna get bed bugs. It's gonna
But
happen.
just everybody.
Just everyone who stores shit, they're all gonna get bed bugs.
I'm
And
gonna be really
rare Lyme disease.
You gonna be what?
really lame right now. I have to pee.
No, go pee. That's fine.
Okay.
I'll talk
We
to
go-
Myer
we go hold down the fort.
about other things that you glaze over when I talk about them. Anyways, so we've been working really hard on not just on our music, but on like record label things.
Yeah.
So you're not only are you the executive producer of Heavy Ox, you put out an album. You're a partner at the label. And this afternoon, after this very podcast, we're doing something that I've been really excited about, and even Jess has been saying she's like, "You're really excited about this," and it's this new foray. Is that a thing? Foray?
Yeah.
A new foray into something?
Yeah.
I tried to Google it and I couldn't find it, and I felt like I was crazy.
Foray into it or adventure.
Okay, so a new foray into songwriting.
Yeah.
I've always felt that you and me separately, and then eventually you and me together, really had a sense of like we were making catchy music, even when the data suggested otherwise. You know what I mean? Even when nobody cared and it wasn't working, I was still like, we're writing fucking cool music. And this is when I was first meeting you and just meet me at the park. And I was first kind of getting to that place when I wrote my album. Probably Proof of Life is when I started to feel that way. Let Me Down and songs like that. And then over time, we started getting enough positive feedback, enough W's that we're in a place where we can kind of look at writing songs for other people. I'm really excited about it.
I'm stoked. I'm just like, this has helped divide the fucking crazy up here.
Yeah.
You know, because whenever I'm working on stuff, there's no like standard method, or it doesn't end up the same. It's always different. So I'll make a different beat every day depending on how I'm feeling, or write different songs depending on what I'm listening to. So now they all have a home, and I don't have to like get all stressed out about like, well, this doesn't really fit with my artistic vision, you know?
Yeah.
And then I have to like last minute add guitars to vaguely make it sound punk rockish.
Because pretty much everybody who's a professional artist is very tight about their thing, their image, their vibe, their brand.
Yeah.
Like I'm very tight about what is an ill vibe song and what I'm cool with. I know you're the same way with your music. So that's a good point. When we're writing, during these songwriting sessions, we can kind of just be like, oh, that sounds cool. Who would sing that?
Yeah.
It's not so much about like, oh yeah, that's not me. It's who would. And if it's a cool pop star girls vibe, then yeah, it's gonna be us ugly dudes writing this weird like female pop star girl vibe, or maybe it'll be a bluesy rock thing like we did at the last time. And it's not just us. We're having a lot of fun bringing people in. So we wrote a song with a girl named Veronica. Today I'm super excited about having Andrew Cameron in. Andrew Cameron's like, he's a rock singer primarily?
Yeah.
Is that his background?
He has that. He's also a rapper.
He raps too? I didn't even know he rapped.
He was in that group Duffer in 83, I think it's called.
Word. I love his singing voice. I didn't know he rapped.
Crazy singer, but he also raps.
Cool. And his raps are dope also, I imagine.
Raps are dope also.
Yeah. That's sick.
And just all around nice guy.
And so, yeah, we have him coming in today to do writing with us. And then next week, we've got a girl named Macy. And we're just writing with all these really amazing singers and turns out rappers. And with no rules. So here's a question for you, because this is a thing I'm not good at. And we don't talk tons of hip hop, so it'll be fun to like touch on it before we get back into this bullshit. I have some stupid shit on my list here to talk about after. Trust me. I come to you with a lot of like different shit. You know, when I met you, you were really great at making like hip hop and like rocky edge shit because that's your background.
Yeah.
But then I started coming to you with like some really different stuff. Like you think about like Grown Ass Man, which is kind of like really vintage, almost like big band.
It's like a cabaret
sounds, and we're trying to make like reggae inspired stuff with Megan. And how do you approach that when I come to you with something that's like, you've never done this isn't what you listen to? What do you do?
I mean, I kind of just go off reference records, and whenever I listen to music, I'm always deconstructing it and seeing like how they do things, and just paying like extra attention to like the different layers. So it just becomes like an equation after a while, and you're like, okay, well, they're doing this with the guitar, or the synth is doing that. So in that style, let's emulate it.
So you like pull it apart in your mind.
Yeah.
Could we do like a CGI thing in a movie where it's like you slow down and suddenly in your mind it's like there's the beat and it goes.
Yeah,
So you can
totally.
see all the
like a
different
CSI thing where they're trying to like solve a crime, and then it's like
exactly.
they go into it.
And then it's like all the layers come apart and you can like picture them and then they
I
come back
kind of
together.
like it to be like the beginning to Marvel movies where you see like the DNA being altered.
Yeah, totally. Like
your,
that
your
CGI
DNA is altered
DNA.
every time.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds problematic. You should get that. You should probably get that looked at.
Yeah. Every single fucking Marvel intro is just a colostomy cam with credits going through it. It's just...
When you're producing songs for other artists that have like a completely different style from your own, like what would you say is like the best part about doing that, and what is like the more like challenging or annoying or whatever worst part about that?
The best part is the money. No.
Get
it. Get that money.
Get it.
Yeah. Bought myself a solid gold jet ski. Yeah, I guess like, I don't know. It's just, it's fun. It's like a challenge every time. It's like, can I pull this off? Though, you know, every now and again, there'll be that moment where like we'll get halfway through the session and I'll just sort of stop and listen. I'm like, this just sounds like fucking wet asshole, and just have to scrap the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's never any fun. That's kind of like admitting defeat, and it's a little awkward. And like there'll be that like 10-minute period where it's like, you know, me trying to steer the plane away from the mountain, but then like realizing that it's just not working.
Yeah, for sure.
That's an interesting visual, because I think that's something that people who've never, like when you come to see Myer make beats more often, I think you'll see that like when he's making a beat and when anyone is, but we work together the most, you kind of get on the momentum of once the drums get going, they start to speak to you. And so the beat kind of starts making itself.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
totally.
Where it's like, it's asking for synths. And at a certain point, I go, man, this isn't what we set out to do at all.
Yeah, no,
Because it's like,
totally.
and then when you add the synth is begging for this other thing. And then once you add that, it's like, well, obviously we now have to add like toms to this. And then at a certain point, I'm like, do we mean to make a reggae record? Because that's not where we set out to
right?
go.
It just takes you on a journey.
And what
So-
you're great at is that happens the least often. Because when I'm making beats, I hit my target 1 out of 10 times. When you make beats, we hit it 8 out of 10 times. And the other 2 times, I'm like, what are we doing? This got sad. We were trying to make a happy song.
Yeah.
But relative accuracy, and I think you could probably rate producers at their ability to do that.
Yeah,
Tell you what they're going to make, explain it to you, and then give you an A+ version of that thing in 3 or 4 hours.
It's also like a discipline in itself, just to like, you know, be able to not get attached to anything. So like, let's say we start making something and it is going sad. We're like, why does this sound sad? All right, let's, you know, that sounds cool, whatever we did, but it's not for the record.
Yeah,
Chuck
for
it.
sure.
And then,
And also be aware that
whatever.
if we were aiming for happy and we went sad, you still have to have a secondary layer that goes off in your mind. If it's so dope, it doesn't matter what you were aiming for. You just stumbled into something genius. Because
Yeah.
the reality is when you make 1,000 songs, you don't know which ones are going to be genius until you're 60% through. You think they are. There's so many songs I wrote where I'm like, oh, this is the one. Myer's going to flip. And then I get like halfway through like ghosting it. And I'm like, oh, this isn't the one. And I was so certain it was like 25 minutes ago.
Yeah,
When you're in the creative mode or whatever, right?
yeah, it can change on you. But
Self-awareness is key when you're in the studio, right?
Yep.
You got to know if it's, did we just make a hit or are we making the same thing 1,000 times and we should try to do something else?
yeah, maybe we should.
Whose
switch it up.
whose phone's going off?
If it's mine, there's nothing I can do.
Oh, okay.
But that's okay. What's cool is it's probably coming from the live broadcast. If
It
that
might
isn't
even be
it.
mine, wherever mine is right
Oh,
now.
whatever.
I just realized I don't know where my phone is.
Myers lost his phone while on. Well, the good thing is we've got a live broadcast, so they could probably tell us where it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have anything to talk about? Because I got a few more things.
Yeah, no, I've got a few more things.
Okay, get it.
I'd like to plug my new religion.
Well, just finish on the topic that we were talking about. Do you ever find it hard when you're like, if you're working on an artist who's pretty hands-on and they're going to have some changes for you, do you ever find like you need to like detach yourself from it because you feel like it's not even yours anymore because they made you make so many changes? Like,
Yeah, there's 2 ways that can go. So some people are hands-on and that's cool about like the direction. And it's like if they want changes, like for example, I work with this one singer, Tyra, who's very like talented, and she's very hands-on on the production. So yeah, every session she'll have like a new idea, and it's like switch things around, and that's fine. But then I've also had some like sessions where it's after the fact, and it's just like all shitty suggestions.
Yeah.
You're just like, all right, I just don't fucking care anymore.
Yeah.
Sure, buddy, I'll fucking, raise this 0.5 decibels because it's that important to you.
yeah. Yeah, that's something that I've been struggling with lately as a video editor and doing the creative edits that we do, is that sometimes I'll create something that to me is awesome, and then I send it to the client and they're like, okay, but can you change this, and it becomes a different video at that point.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, well, this isn't even something I'm proud to show people anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jess will show me something, and the 3 things I like best about it are the 3 things that the client will have
they-
removed.
Yeah, it's just
And-
like, what? And it's so personal, so you have to sometimes not be offended by it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people see things and they're like, oh, it's not what I pictured it looking like, which is fine.
But because that's one side of the argument.
Yeah.
But the other side of the argument is if you hire an expert, trust their expertise.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing. Because same thing when me and you talk about mixes, I might say, it feels like to me, like my voice doesn't sound as good as this other person's voice, and that's totally my prerogative to bring up. But then you or Nosh or Kyle, whoever's on the other's receiving end, would be like, well, actually, decibel wise, it's the same level.
Yeah.
So if maybe you want to add a little reverb, it's like now I have to trust their expertise.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
same thing when we're doing a video. Someone goes, "Hey, so can you just do this?" And it's like that's so cliche. We
Yeah.
can do it, but it will bring the value of your video
Yeah.
down by 50%.
I'll give this example that
Do
sometimes
it.
we make an awesome
Talk
video
that talk, Jess.
with like crazy footage and like all these cool effects and stuff, and then somebody will send us like a still image, and they'll be like, "Can you put this still image in the middle of the video somewhere?" And we're just like, have you ever seen a
And recently
professional
someone said
modern music
throughout.
video?
Could you pepper this image throughout?
Wow.
And it's just like, have you ever seen a Drake video or a Drake promotion or anything like that? All of a sudden, cut to a still image floating in the air. Like, what? Nobody does that.
No.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
people make us do it, and we do it. But then it's just like, we're not going to share this video now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and sorry to anyone who's listening to this who might
And
have
by
told
the
us
way,
to do that. But
If someone did listen or in the future listens and we've worked with them and they made a suggestion, it's normal to feel that way. I think the key is to inform yourself and arm yourself with people that you would trust their opinion. Because if you look at our work and you think, well, I still think I've got a better look POV than that, then you should probably hire different animators. Or if you look at someone's photography and you go, I can do better angles than that, you probably hire a different photographer.
Yeah, totally.
So you hire somebody who's smarter than you at the thing you're paying them for.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And by the way, if you can't find someone, then you're delusional and you're wrong.
Yeah.
Some of those people are better than you. And you know what I mean? And so, for example, when I pay people, because I hire a lot of people, I trust them. There's a lot of times when we're working on something for me and Myer says something, and he's pretty adamant about it. And I go, that's not how I felt, but I call him the genius for a reason. I got to stop saying that if I'm not going to trust his opinion once in a while.
Yeah,
Same thing with Notion on photos. Same thing with Kyle on mixing and you on so many things. And it's just like, why will I continue to speak so well of these people if I'm not going to take their advice when the critical time comes?
It just becomes this whole like backwards thing.
Yeah, then you should save the money and do it yourself.
Yeah.
But then if you do that, you're wrong. Because you definitely need to hire experts to help you.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm part talking to myself because I've been that dude many times. So I'm sure there are many guys and probably some girls, but the girls I know are a little bit more self-aware and they're willing to be more collaborative. Guys can be a little bit more stubborn, I think, and not want to.
Bullheaded. Yeah. I've also had like the other end of the spectrum though. Maybe I am wrong after hearing all that, but there's been a couple situations where it's like I'm paying the expert but end up having to do their job for them.
But then maybe it might not be the right expert.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It doesn't mean that they're not talented. It's just not a right fit for you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, or maybe if whatever they're doing, if you read that as like, oh, you didn't nail it, the key is just to be self-aware and move on and hire new people and find, because the internet, especially these days, opens up a world of people who are really good, who are really affordable.
Yeah.
In almost every category I hire in, I found somebody online who will do great work for under $200 for almost everything.
depending
I need.
on what it is.
Yeah, I'm a rapper, so I have very specific needs. I don't know what the fuck the listeners need. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
For you, if we're talking about engineers or these other, animators, or we hired somebody to help us with a cartoon we're working on. It's $120. These like professional people online, because they, just like we do with our lyric videos, they make their services available to the.
And sometimes they have another main job that they do, and this is just something side to make a little bit of extra money.
But in our case, we proved with lyricvids.com that you don't need to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like with the subscription model, when you're working all the time at those lower rates, we make a great living off our animation business.
Yeah,
and I know a lot of people who do the same thing. My engineer, I don't know exactly what he charges everybody, but it seems like it's in the range of $40 an hour. If he's doing that all the time, that's great money.
Totally.
You're a single guy, you make $40 per hour, and you're working 8 hours a day at your home, never have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's got 20 grand sitting in his bank account.
Just
You know what
since
I mean?
we got on the topic, I'll get up on a soapbox about that a little bit.
Sorry,
often we'll get criticisms of like, oh, you guys need to charge more for this service because
Yeah.
from like other videographers or whatever. And it's just like, create your own value. If your value is that you charge this amount and you give this, that's amazing. We've created a streamlined way that we can offer a specific service that is valuable to us and is valuable to our clients, and we choose to market at this price.
Yeah.
So to me, attacking other artists for charging less or for whatever is like such a like weird thing to me.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like owning a pharmacy and then like standing outside a Walmart every day protesting that they're cheaper.
Yeah, totally.
Politically, it's more complicated. in
Yeah,
that-
it's a little more complicated, but I know what you're saying.
yeah, you're
Like,
right.
Yeah, like
Well, and then here's the other thing. People who say that simply just don't know our business, because we do both. Like,
Yeah.
we also produce custom videos for $5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
But those are more rare
Yeah.
because not everybody has that much money. Only
yeah. So we choose to sell to the people who can't. To everyone, you know.
It's
what I
a
mean?
whole
Like,
different business. You know,
yeah.
we run. Yeah, that's fun to do, and of course we love to do that. But the rest of the time, when we're talking to regular human beings who could never spend that much money on a single piece of content for
Yeah.
the internet, we make videos that are accessible to the kinds of people that I bump into at my shows. You know what I mean?
And we also know our clients. So like you said, we know these people from your shows. We have a really unique kind of entry to the business because it's like we know them from doing shows with you, opening for you, all these different things. And so sometimes a professional videographer will say to me, "Oh, you guys, charge so little for that." And it's just like, well, I know that if we charge this much, we would lose 80% of our client base.
No.
Yes, the other 20% are willing to pay thousands of dollars for videos, and we give that to them.
Sure.
But the 80% are people that we know, you know what I mean? Or people like, you know what I'm saying?
We reverse engineered it, right?
Yeah,
we know
exactly.
how much money we need to make a good living, and we know exactly how many hours it takes to make these 5 products, and we figured out a price point that is
fair to everyone.
Fair to everybody.
Yeah.
And I think because it has that open sourcey fairness, like it's not crowdsourced at all, it's just me and you, but it has that like, hey, don't go to a big animation studio, pay us for our time, we'll charge you no more than our time.
Yeah.
And therefore you get the lowest possible price for the thing that you want.
Pixar can suck a dick.
Hey,
I'm
God bless Pixar.
I don't know if they're our direct competitor,
Yeah.
but
No vibe.
Now, I have a question for you guys. So, hypothetical. You get an email one day, major opportunity. You two have been selected to produce the opening theme for Netflix original The Sniffer. How much do you charge?
Whoa. Well, it depends what they wanted.
it depends on what they
These
want.
days, have you noticed that every intro is like a 3D body and they're like looking through the veins or some shit?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's like 2 new shows I watch.
Yeah.
Basically the same intro.
Yeah.
It's just like zooming.
Oh, the end of Tomb Raider the other night was amazing. It was like the guns would come up and then the bullets would smash out and then it would follow the bullet
Yeah.
and like
So it depends what they want.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, if it's Netflix money though, no less than $2,500.
Yeah.
fair. And then you guys.
That's if they want
That's
something.
that's the low end.
If they want something really basic, it just says the sniffer.
the sniffer, and then it like puffs into like a cloud of
Yes,
smoke,
I'll
and then
do
it
it with-
sniffs up a nose.
Yeah, that's what we would do.
Oh my god.
Does the sniffer get ground up into like a line of cocaine for some like some
Yeah.
edgy like?
There's like
That
a
works
smooth
too.
jazz theme in the background. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Little glockenspiel.
It says the sniffer, and then up below it's like by Genji Cohen or whoever the fuck created it.
Yeah.
It's not Genji, but it's Genji's equivalent. Do you know
that?
who Genji is? This show creator who created what's the fucking Weeds and like 5 other hit shows. Maybe also Orange is the New Black, but like
Right,
like
right.
5 hit shows, and it just says by Genji Cohen on the screen always during
Like Genghis Khan.
yeah, basically the same. And probably right now, Genji's name is probably last name is probably not Cohen.
Yeah.
But I've now said it so many times that there's no going back.
Okay. That's so funny.
So totally unrelated to anything, but it's something that kind of happened last night. So I kind of wanted to talk about it. There's this thing that happens, and it doesn't.
It's when I
There's a
come.
craze for
It's when
that.
it's when I bust my nuts. She's about to tell a very long story about when I bust my nuts.
There's
Why
a
are
thing
you
that
guys telling me this?
There's a thing that happens, and there's no name for it as far as I know. So I've decided to call it Camp Friends Effect, the Camp Friends Effect.
Okay.
And basically what this is it's when you, for a very brief period of time, whether it's when you're little and you go away to camp, so you're there for a week or whatever, or when you're older and you go on a music tour, or you hang out at a party that you've never been to with those people before, and you make like really good friends with these people
Yeah.
who you never see again. I don't know why, but I'm like obsessed with that in life because it happens so often in our industry
Yeah.
too, where we'll like go on a tour, meet a people at a hostel or something like that, and it's like they're your like BFFs for like just that short period of time, and then you like I can't even remember their names now. You know what I mean? It's like then you never.
So question.
Remember when we met Jesus?
Yeah, so I.
It's on our list. So we're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
I actually happen to know this Jesus segment is for sure going to be the clip we post on Instagram because I've been waiting a long time to talk about this. But I just got back from a trip, so I had 2 levels of that, and so I'm
Yeah.
curious which one you mean. The people I meet at the music conference, because I just did 2 of these, right? They feel like when you say best friends, you're so tight. I meet people at these events where it's like, wow, you're a kindred spirit from another place.
Yeah.
I fucking love you. Cannot wait to see you again. And I also meet people at these places like at the hostels or at the hotels or sometimes even the Airbnb host is really cool. And it's like, well, that person's dope. And you kick it, you have a little bond, even though you know you'll literally never see them again.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
totally.
So which one do you mean? Because the people at the music events,
I mean,
I
more
see
so-
them again.
Yeah, so that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean the ones where as you're hanging out, even you know that
This is
once
someone
this
you-
is over, it's over. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? But you're just so in it for that moment. I can think of an example with me and you was when we
Yeah.
went to Cuba and we made friends with this older couple who were like in their 50s
Oh, yeah, for
probably.
sure.
They were swingers.
Yeah. No, they didn't give us that vibe. I feel like they could have.
No,
if they
might have been.
wanted
Just
to.
they certainly didn't hit on us.
Yeah, they didn't like us. We weren't their type, maybe. But we hung out with them the whole time we were in Cuba. And then at the end of the trip, they were staying for another week and we were going back home. And they were like, oh, did you want they lived in a mansion, I guess. And they're like, do you want the keys to our house? They're like, you can go hang out there and like hang out in the pool and stuff. Like they were willing to give us their house keys.
Wow.
And we said no because we had stuff to do and we didn't. And they lived in like Collingwood or something like that.
Didn't even have a jacuzzi.
And it was really random. We're like, we're about to go home. We're looking forward to going home. We don't need to go to your house in Collingwood.
But they were like our BFFs for that 1 week. Like
Yeah.
we stayed up till 4 a.m. with them talking about political issues, talking
But
about
same
like
thing. You said in
getting teary eyed, talking about each other. Like
I'm with you, and I'm glad you brought them up. I miss them.
I know.
But you said in the moment, you know you would never see them again. That's not how it felt in the moment. We were talking about I would totally meet with them for drinks.
But I feel like you kind of know.
No, and I remember you saying, do you think we would meet with them? I'm like, I don't know. He says he's in Toronto all the time. I definitely meet with him for a beer. And you're right. I was skeptical, but it wasn't full on like I'll never see this guy again.
Yeah.
Because when you say that. That does ring a bell. That happens to me often. I was on the subway coming back from Europe, and this couple landed on the subway from the airport, and they were clearly like little fish, big pond. They were from Nova Scotia. They were so unsure of themselves. They seemed like they'd never ridden a subway before.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, I'm never going to see these guys again. I'm going to make their day. So I went and sat next to them, gave them directions around Toronto, told them where they should go.
Yeah.
And I was just making them laugh and being like kind of random.
Yeah.
And I remember they got off the subway and I was just like, for sure, they're like, who the fuck was that guy? And I'm never going to see them again.
I don't remember what podcast. Sorry, were you finished?
I'm just saying that's different than somebody that I'm like, they're really cool. We should call them later.
for
And
sure.
we get
There's
their
two
number,
different
you know
things.
what
But
I mean?
I'm talking about the one where like you almost know for a fact that you're never going to see these people
Well,
again.
that's the beauty of Facebook, though.
True. Like that's what I mean. It's almost like you're committed to the fact that this is like a one-time thing. If you got to know them better, maybe
Yeah.
you wouldn't even like each other that much. Do you
Exactly.
know what I mean?
It's
Like
like-
where it's like this thing. Like even last night we were shooting an event and there was other vendors there who were part of like the band that was performing and things like
They were
that.
cool. They were good,
and
too.
yeah, and we sat at the table and we had dinner with them and we talked to them and we were all laughing, we were joking, and it's just like. Maybe if we hung out with them more, we wouldn't really even be friends with those people. Do you know what I mean? But there's kind of like that feeling in the moment. And I think it's something that only humans have. We listened to it on a podcast
course, yeah.
recently where they talked about monogamy and like humans not only have the need to be monogamous or feel the need to be monogamous, but also to make friendships wherever they go. So it's like we could have just
social
eaten by
creatures.
ourselves at that event,
Yeah.
not hung out with the other vendors. But instead, it's like we have that need to like pool together. So whether
Yeah.
when you go away to camp, you find these other people who you like at camp. When you go away to
so fast.
yeah, totally. You know, I don't know. I just find it interesting.
No, I do find it interesting.
I have definitely had that sensation and like,
Yeah,
thing. I wish I hated people less now because I don't have it as often.
yeah.
I did make a bunch of random friends in Montreal. I was in Montreal shooting a video last weekend, and actually one of them was the same guy who I just kept running into at the subway or metro. And this is an anticlimactic story, but it was, everyone was
okay.
like, "Hey, buddy, here's some guy from New York had a Tinder date. Probably went terribly."
But yeah,
Well, that's pretty pessimistic of you. I hope it went well.
Now you'll never see him again.
On the subject of friendship, and we're coming back to Jesus, don't you fucking worry. On the subject of friendship, I know I hold two opinions at once, and I think for people who hold the first one and not the second one, I like to share the second one. The first one is one that everyone shares. It's hard to make friends as adults. Everybody knows that. It's a thing that people discover around like 25, where you go, you know what, I'm not making as many new friends as I used to.
Yeah.
Because it's harder and harder to make new friends. Second observation that is useful to people who have the first observation. These trips that we go on, music-related trips, let's call them interest-related trips, because for us it's music. We have friends who go to video games. My friend Tim went to a YouTube conference in California. Going to something where it's built around the thing you love the most. This sounds obvious, but when you go to it, you make 100 new best friends. And every time I do it, I meet, and I'm not 100, but I'm saying I meet a bunch of new people who I'm like, I'm really similar to that guy. And if you do, and if you're smart and you add them on socials, Instagram seems to be the one people are really comfortable adding you on in the moment. I keep that. So I load up my phone and there's all these cool people I remember meeting and being like, oh, this dude's just like me. And now they're kind of in my universe. And when I go back to those similar places, I will see them or similar people. Not everybody comes to everything, but I think it's a valuable observation, because I remember when I first had that realization, I went through a bit of a depression because I was like, I'm not really meeting as many new people as I used to. My only friends are the ones I meet in the rap game, and some of us have gotten really close, but a lot of people, you don't get that close with them in the music industry. But when I meet these people at these events, they're there. They don't know anybody. You don't know anybody. You have all the same interests. You took the same risk for the same reason. And then it's like, yo, this dude could be like my new best friend. You know what I mean? And maybe that means nothing to you, in which case, blah. But if you've had the first thought, like it's hard to make new best friends, consider doing something like this. I know, I've met some really cool people that way.
I think why I think about it so much is because I think back on these things and I'm just like, man, I should have gotten their contact information. I should have tried to pursue a friendship. The one I'm sure you've heard me tell this story, but I don't know if you would have. I went out with my friend Vivian, and she took me to this party. It was like a friend of a friend's like party, and it was in this like abandoned variety store. So it was like this variety store that had shut down, and they just closed it, and they let us in the front door and then locked it behind us, and we were just like sitting at like the I don't know, back area of this variety store playing drinking games. And then my friend Vivian, who brought me there, left, but I wasn't ready to leave yet. Right. So I stayed with these strangers who I had never met before. And we just played these drinking games. We were laughing so hard. Like we were singing songs. And then I just left. And it's like, I don't know. And I'm sure I could talk to Vivian and try to find out who these people are. You know what I mean?
That would almost be weird.
Like, I don't remember any of their names.
Ad in the paper.
Yeah, totally. It definitely felt like a missed connection. And then it's just like, but maybe if I hung out with these people more,
so in the future, do the Instagram thing, because I honestly, it's so low commitment. Whenever I meet somebody at one of these things and they're cool, even early, I'm like, let me add you to Instagram, because sometimes they're just cool or whatever. And then later you decide to keep them or lose them. Yeah. But sometimes an hour later, you're like, this motherfucker is the dopest, and maybe they live somewhere that you don't go over that often. But for example, on this last trip, I met people from Atlanta. Not only were they dope as fuck, but Atlanta's a place I've been trying to go for a long time. I've always wanted to go there, play some shows, see what the vibe in that city is like.
I'm supposed to go to Atlanta soon, so let me know if you want to like plan something.
I would love to plan something. Let's talk about when. We're getting married. We have other things going on. But as long as it doesn't involve time around that,
I gotta work with Rook, and he's always telling me.
Oh, dope. So another good reason. See, that's what I'm saying. So for sure. And you know what? You should totally go to something not hip hop related.
I would
that's similar.
love that.
You know what I mean?
What, like you mean while we're in Atlanta?
I'm just saying, like, you should go to some like content creator thing like that, because you would just meet a bunch of cool people.
Or a comedy fest.
Yeah, totally.
Hear the Atlanta Pride.
Yeah, totally. You should totally go to Just for Laughs Montreal sometime or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damaged Goods could sponsor that. Send you up there. You could be like our field reporter and go to Montreal.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't see any of Kim Noble's shows.
Who's
Kim?
that?
Kim Noble.
Fuck Kim Noble.
He's just
I don't know anything about Kim
I went to
Noble.
a show once. They gave us free tickets. That should have been a red flag right away.
And it wasn't good? I love that you just called out a bad comedian for no reason.
Yeah. First and last name.
Well, sometimes bad comedians just aren't good yet.
No,
have you ever thought about that?
It wasn't like bad. It was like cringe. It was weird. It was like
cringe is usually in the section of bad.
Yeah, I guess
it wasn't
so.
good cringe.
Well, because he wasn't telling jokes. It was just like a lot of footage of him jerking off onto like.
Okay, well
products.
that's you should have cut to that right away, because now we're on board.
Yeah, now it's definitely cringe.
And then he puts them.
Well,
back
I want to know the
He's in
context.
the fucking grocery store coming on Pop-Tarts and putting them back in the fucking thing. And then he asked these 5 girls to stay after the show. And then we all stayed outside wondering what the fuck he was asking them. And he was asking them to be like surrogate mothers. And it was...
What?
That doesn't sound like a comedy show at all. We're going to move on from that. So let's talk about Jesus. I feel like maybe I remember the least. I remember certain things really well.
I'm not going to be much help then either, because I don't remember.
So, Myer, how about you set us up, and then we'll start filling in holes. Tell us what you remember about an individual we met.
I have such a spotty memory, but I'll try.
Who, give us what you remember of an individual we know as the second coming of Jesus Christ.
So we're already blowing our wad, because that's not at all how it went down. You think like someone tells you the second coming of Christ, you're like, oh, this guy's a fucking nutbag. But that's not how we'd met. We were all just chilling in a hostel.
Where were we? What city?
In France.
In Paris, France.
Paris, France.
Like this, like French music plays in the background.
Accordion.
Okay.
On the streets of Paris.
Okay, yeah. So here we are. We're in Paris, France.
Yeah, so we meet this guy. Where was he from? He was Dutch, I think.
We're in the kitchen of a hostel.
Yeah.
Jess and I finish up some food. We start having some drinks, and there's a man there who's says something to us to the effect of like, I'm here by myself.
Yeah, he had just gotten dumped.
Nope.
Yeah.
No?
No.
Girlfriend died.
No, that was different.
No, this is the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he had just gotten dumped like
That night.
Oh, that night. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I
Yes,
forgot about the dead girlfriend.
I did too.
The dead girlfriend's an important fact, and I'll
Okay.
tell you why.
So we're gonna put this together, all three of us. So so we find out early though that he's broken up with his girlfriend. Broke up with him.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
remember that part. Yeah.
Because that's why he was in Paris. His
His girlfriend broke up with him basically because he's broken over the dead girl.
Yeah. And
Okay,
he was telling us all these like cool things about geography. And you asked him, why is it so fucking cold in Canada but so fucking hot in Barcelona if it looks like it's on the same?
Great memory. That is what I asked him.
if it
Oh,
looks
that is
like
a
it's
really
on the
good
same-
memory, yeah.
I don't know. I just remember the bad. He
Yeah,
said something
yeah.
about like ocean currents, and that's why things are warmer in certain places.
That's right.
Even though they're on the same latitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like an educated dude. We just start talking about life.
Really smart, not sketchy.
Yeah.
He just seems a little bit lonely. That's the weirdest thing I picked up about him. He didn't seem. I didn't get lying vibes. I didn't get sketchy vibes. I didn't get troll vibes. I got this guy's a little bit lonely, but otherwise we're talking to a really smart, educated dude.
Yeah. And then he starts going into the story. This is where I might butcher this. So if anyone,
let's ease in. So he tells us his girlfriend broke up with him,
right?
and then at some point he lets us know the girl before that died.
Yeah.
I can't remember why, if he did it awkwardly or if it came up as part of the story, but he definitely like lets us know the girl before that one died.
Yeah. And at a certain point, I know that he said, after he told us that she died, he said, do you guys want to hear a crazy story?
Yeah, you think that's crazy?
And-
do you have the time? He's like, do you have time for it? I'm like, can't you
Yeah.
tell us the short version? He's like, there isn't a short version.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he talks for it was probably like 2 hours,
It was a
right?
long
And we were
fucking
all
story.
being very polite because his girlfriend died, and
Yeah.
it's a story kind of about that and about other things.
Yeah, he alludes to that it has something to do
So
with her
there's
death.
us and there's another girl as well, right? Who was also at the hospital. Or was there 2 other girls?
I don't remember
There
them.
was another girl for sure because we went outside for a smoke with her afterwards.
I believe you, but I don't remember them.
Yeah. So I think it was just one. It was the 3 of us and one other girl.
Not important.
Yeah.
Except for that there was another human being who also was buying it.
Yeah. Who was
Yeah.
also being polite and listening.
Oh wait,
Sure.
I think she like bought it more than we did.
Oh, don't get me wrong. And don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I didn't buy it, but I was buying it enough to be in the conversation for 2 hours, which anyone who knows me, I would not do if it wasn't
Yeah.
pretty compelling. That might be the most evidence that this is a compelling story because I have no patience for some bullshit. And 90 minutes later, I was still like, I have to hear how the story ends.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's talking about his dead girlfriend, and then did he go right into the pilgrimage? I think.
Yeah, I think he said, "I'm on a pilgrimage." I think that is one of the first things he said.
Yeah.
was-
We can also give the short version of the story.
No, I'd like to give a mid-sized version.
yeah,
I'm not.
the
We're not
mid-sized
going to give it the 2-hour version by any means. I
don't-
just like to break down why this was so crazy, get into
Yeah.
what we remember of it.
Yeah.
So he eases into that, talking about the pilgrimage.
He's on a pilgrimage from like the UK through Spain to Portugal or something.
Right.
Yeah, and he starts talking about like these weird occurrences.
Yes.
Where, like they had a prayer that they always said together, and whenever he was like in trouble, he would say the prayer, kind of thinking of her, and shit would just like work out.
I was pessimistic at this point. I remember.
Yeah.
Like people.
And then there was a song too that it was like their song or
You
whatever.
heard it on the
and-
radio.
And he would start hearing it everywhere. Like, just like,
yeah.
And then at some point early in the story, he flies to the island of the dead girlfriend
yeah.
for a reason I can't remember.
Yeah.
Was it her funeral or no?
I don't think so. But let's just say shortly thereafter, he felt compelled to go to the island up because the girl, he was living with her in Europe or UK or something, like Germany. I can't remember where they were living together. Somewhere in the white part of Europe.
Yeah.
And she was from like an island near Portugal or something like
Yeah.
that. And it's a very small island, as I recall it, because he was talking about it being like everybody knows everybody on this fucking island.
Yeah.
And so he flies to this island, goes to her hometown, which is like in the middle of nowhere. They have no cell phone reception. They have no blah, blah, blah. And this is where it gets foggy for me. But
Okay.
I remember he hears the song
Yeah.
on the island way out there.
Yeah.
Someone approaches him like they know him or something.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
says the prayer to him. I think.
Yeah, so this is the crazy part that I remember, and I don't remember if it was on the island or back at his house. I thought it was like his aunt or something, so maybe it was back in his hometown. But he said that he all of a sudden like felt like the impulse to like go up to his room. They were having dinner or whatever, and to go up to his room or whatever. And he looks into the mirror, and he's not him; he's Jesus in the
Yeah.
mirror.
Yes.
And then when he went back down, his aunt said, "Did you see it?" And he was like,
I forgot about
see
this,
what
yes.
or whatever. And she's
Yeah.
like, you're him or something like, it was something
Yes.
like
She's
that.
I've been waiting for you to
I've been waiting for you. Yeah,
Yes.
she's
Your
been
whole
waiting
life
for
I've
him
been
to
waiting.
have this like
Yeah.
vision or
And
whatever.
then he tried and very, very soberly, he tries to convince us my aunt is not a crazy person.
And I'm not a crazy person.
And I'm not.
Yeah.
And I saw it. And then she told me, I've been waiting your whole life
Yeah.
for you to have this vision so that
Yeah.
you know you're the second coming of Christ.
Yeah, and he was like, I'm not religious. He's like, don't get me wrong. He's like, I'm not even religious, but I saw what I saw. And then was there another like stigmata type thing or something too?
No, well, the mirror was in her backyard. He went upstairs and
The details.
he had like a poster of some band he liked that turned into Jesus.
Yeah.
So he saw like 2 Jesus that day.
Yeah, there's a lot of Jesus.
So he
Fighting.
goes to the island. There's some more confirmation that he's Jesus out there. I can't remember why.
Yeah, people start walking up to him and shit. Oh yeah, didn't he like go to a fucking village or some shit and they like praised him?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was
like
something
some
like
weird
that.
like that. Like he walked through like the jungle or some shit.
And they were just like giving him food or like there was something like
Yeah.
So
crazy
how
like
does the
that.
story end?
Okay, yeah, can I? This is my fucking favorite.
Yes,
Yeah,
part.
yes. I don't remember.
Because yeah, the story ends with like something went wrong on the pilgrimage, and then he was like, "This is crazy. Fuck this. I'm going home." And that's how it is. He just bailed. Like,
Oh yeah,
halfway
that's
through
right.
the
Because then we were like, "You have to." Like we were
Yes.
talking him into
Yeah.
finishing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for an hour he said, for 100%, I'm convinced that I saw these things and that I might be the second coming of Christ, but also I broke my leg.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, so but when your leg healed up, oh, and I'm the second coming of Christ, and I need to go to this specific place.
It was like on a
Yeah.
peak of a mountain or
it's
something.
and when I get there, something will happen. But I broke my leg, so here I am.
Yeah. And it
I
was-
broke my leg, fell in love with another girl. So here I am, and I was like, so the girl dumps you. You're gonna go to the place, right? And I'm the biggest atheist on the planet, and I was just like, so even if you half believe you might be the second coming of Christ, you're gonna go to the like Holy Land, right, and see what happens.
like, nah, this is too crazy. I
I don't know, my leg. I feel like the leg maybe was a sign. There's this girl, I can't get over her, Becca. She gives head like a monster.
That's how I knew he wasn't nuts. Not that, but like, just the fact that like halfway through, he's like, "This is fucking insane. I'm going home.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go."
That's
on a
what made the story
goddamn
so
pilgrimage."
crazy was
Yeah.
that he seemed like a pretty normal dude.
Yeah.
And who was telling us about how he's some kind of prophet. And
Yeah.
it's like it's almost like he didn't want it. He's like, I don't want this. I don't want to call myself
I'm
that.
currently fighting it.
But it seems to be like I'm some kind of
Yes.
prophet.
I
You know
remember
what I mean?
being
Like,
drunk at this point and saying, "Hey, you can't half-ass a spirit quest."
I remember not being that drunk.
Yeah.
But
No,
it-
yeah, I wasn't drunk. I was exhausted.
In any case, he ends the story somewhere there being like, yeah, I guess maybe I should. I don't know.
And then I think
I'm
he,
heartbroken.
like,
I'm heartbroken.
fucked the girl from the hostel, didn't he? Or he was trying
I
to.
don't remember.
yeah,
He was definitely.
they left together, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the likelihood is he's just one of these super smart dudes who's also able to just like spin a tale, and he just did. But I've just never met anybody like that who would have the specific skill set required to do what that guy did that night. And if he's crazy, he's the most coherent, crazy person I've ever met. And
I would
he's
never
a very
listen to a crazy person talk for
No, that's
2
what I mean.
hours, and we listened to this guy
he's a
talk
special
for 2 hours.
whatever he is. It's a special case because it's like I can't exactly immediately reverse engineer and be like, well, obviously it's this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's not a prophet.
No.
But what he is, I don't know. And it is if he's crazy and just coherent and like he's so smart that we're not really able to detect the crazy exactly.
Yeah. Next time we hear
I
of
don't
him,
know.
he'll be like Bhagwan from like Wild Wild Country.
If he is, we're joining the religion. 100%.
I didn't see this thing.
You need to watch
Yeah,
Wild
yeah.
Wild Country on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Okay.
It's just basically as if this person would have suddenly started a religion and 1 million people join.
Yeah.
And it's a
then
real
they
story.
like build their own commune.
It's a
and
real
stuff.
story, and it's
Yeah.
really interesting. And the girl's badass. Joe Rogan's currently watching it like a year after everyone else and
Oh,
posting
yeah.
episode after.
Not a year. It's only been out
But a
for
bunch of time after everyone else watched it,
Yeah.
and it's been fun to watch like his fans be like, "Oh, you're gonna love the next episode," because it gets so crazy.
You know what was a huge letdown? The Path.
I disagree.
Which one's the path?
That's the one I watched with the guy from Breaking
Aaron
Bad,
Paul?
and it's the cult one. It's kind of half Christian, half Scientology.
Yeah.
I really like
How
it.
far
No,
did you get into it?
I'm still in.
But like, what episode are you at?
I'm caught up.
Oh, yeah, I stopped in season 2 because it's just
No, I love.
turning into like
I
relationship drama.
I
was just-
I also work from home and I watch a lot while I work. And so there are shows that are otherwise like the acting isn't perfect. And I don't think that's one. But then again, what I'm getting at is I'm working while I watch it. So I almost think it gets past me. You know what I mean? Like I watched all of The Good Wife, even though some of the writing is cringeworthy because I'm working while it happens. And so it's just like dramatic storyline. Oh, that's cool. Oh, now they're going to prison. Crazy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm like on lyric video number 72.
You'd probably be more critical to shows if you're watching them just like straight watching them. Whereas you're putting it on in the background, so you're probably not too critical.
You don't have to sit through all the like, but I love you, Hannah.
And it just it becomes like you're following the arc of the story, not watching every like eye contact scene.
Yeah, because it just got out of hand with that. I got bored.
Can I go one more?
Please do. I got one more too.
Okay, cool. So I'm super excited because at the end of August, actually just a week before our wedding, I'm going to get to meet Jeff Goldblum. We haven't talked about this yet on the podcast,
we haven't.
have we?
We haven't talked about it off the podcast.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
So
Huge celebrity crush. Jess would blow Jeff Goldblum so enthusiastically, so quickly.
and you said you'd forgive me, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I think I would.
Yeah, you said
I would
you'd forgive
I'd be
me.
pretty upset about it. Don't get me wrong, because the love of your life cheating on you when they've never done that
a week before your wedding.
and never would do it would
But
be
it's Jeff Goldblum.
But it is literally the guy.
Yeah.
So
Oh no, I feel like we did talk about this with Maya because Maya said that she loved Jeff Goldblum too.
no, yeah, we talked about that part.
Oh, okay, cool. So Jurassic Park's my favorite movie. Super obsessed with Jeff Goldblum. I'm gonna meet him, get a photo with him. I don't know what I want to say. Katie asked me last night. She was like, "What are you gonna say to him?" I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna overthink it because you don't want to just be like, "Oh, I love your work." It's just like that's boring. But then you don't want to try too hard to think of something cool because then that's like thirsty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Tell
Like
him the Holocaust never happened.
Holocaust denying is not how I make my money, but
Yeah.
it's where I get my rocks off.
I'll just whisper it to him
just
really
like-
quietly.
Just to see how he would, because I feel, he's like our poster Jew. He's the guy. He's the sexy one of us.
He is.
So yeah.
Who would
Zac
make
Efron being a close second.
Who would make you guys starstruck?
I get starstruck by like everybody.
Oh yeah.
Just like a social anxiety.
So who's like the one who would make you the most starstruck then?
Fuck, I don't know. I guess probably like Dr. Dre or Eminem or something.
Yeah, for sure. Meeting Em and Dre. If Em and Dre walk in the room,
Yeah,
or
they're
you
just
walk,
so big. Like it's just like so.
Yeah,
they
larger
almost
than
seem
life.
like they almost seem like they don't exist.
and they were the biggest in the world when you were in your formative years, right? Like they were the biggest
Yeah.
people in the universe
But you
when
know
you
what?
were looking up at them at that age, right?
I will say this though. I think there's like a certain comfort from like knowing someone's like catalog like that, so you're not as unprepared. For example, like I would probably feel more uncomfortable if like Taylor Swift walked in the room because like I know how
Right.
famous she is, but I've literally never listened to a Taylor Swift song.
yeah, so
So
you'd
it'd
feel like
be
you
like-
wouldn't know.
Yeah, so it means the fact that they're famous and they mean something to you. Like meeting John Mayer, I didn't really feel starstruck, and and not in some like cool, like look how cool I am way. It's just that I know he's famous, but not in any way that
Like
has an emotional connection to me. But also I was very impressed after. I was like, so to me, starstruck is just like holy fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt that way a little bit about Dave Chappelle. I didn't feel comfortable approaching him.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like looking at the sun. Like I looked at him and I'm like, I
Yeah.
couldn't look
To
right.
be honest,
couldn't
I
look
think
right
I
at
felt
him.
more comfortable with John Mayer because Dave Chappelle was in the room.
You're like,
because
oh,
it
you're
was
the
like
second most famous person here?
It wasn't so intimidating because it's like Dave
Wow.
Chappelle's 5 feet away.
I could be talking to Dave right now.
Yeah.
But I chose you.
Sorry, John, I love you.
No, that's funny.
I told Childish Gambino I jerked off to a picture of his fruit once,
That's hilarious.
so that was fun.
Where did you meet him?
Just for Laughs Festival.
Oh,
It
cool.
was like 2000.
I love him. I would be starstruck to meet him. I saw him live, but
Yeah.
I think so. Here's who I think I'd be starstruck by. On the male side, somebody like The Rock because he's so larger than life. I respect him, and he's so famous. It's like there's like 6 reasons why it'd be cool to meet somebody like that. On the male side, that's the kind of person that would I think hit me like that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? On the female side, I want to tell a short story first. Meeting Jesse Cruikshank, it was like when you meet one of these like female celebrities. It's like they're made in like a mold. It's different than like every girl I've ever met out in the real world and had fun with all my friends. She just was like, there's a reason why a girl like that has 6 TV shows. And so what I would be super starstruck meeting like Eva Mendes. On TV, she's the hottest girl I've ever seen. In real life, it would just be like, that's not what a real person looks like.
Yeah, you love Eva Mendes, eh? I feel like she hasn't even done anything recently.
And they have
What has she been in
she has a
recently?
personal trainer,
Yeah.
a makeup artist who knows her skin like oil and pH balance. You know what I mean? She's got like a dietitian. It's not fair. And so a woman like that, if you were to meet, that's why I'd forgive you with Jeff Goldblum. Because if Eva Mendes met me and she's like, there's something about you, I'd have to be like, Jess, get me out of this room immediately.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it.
Get me out of this room immediately, because this is not fair. This is not what human females. They don't have this level of preparation.
This is like a demigod coming out of you.
The amount of money they spend so that her skin feels perfect that's not the normal for any other person.
I'm about to get fucked by Thor's hammer.
And to be honest, that applies to Jeff Goldblum, because if you were to see the man that you on TV that you're attracted to, he has somebody too that makes his skin look amazing. It's why he hasn't aged.
Yeah.
He has a barber that he pays $800 a month to make sure his hair looks
guarantee-
amazing. It's not fair. It's not fair the level
not
of preparation
fair.
that he has.
But you're gonna meet him, and the first thing you're gonna notice is like his nose hair. You're just
I hope
gonna
you
be like,
do. I hope you do.
Fuck. God damn.
Do you know what I wanted to do? And
I just feel like he
I
has
think I did
nose
say
hair.
this on the Maya podcast. That's the
You
thing
can,
that
you
sucks
can mention
about.
you can mention it.
I know. I just don't want to repeat the same things. Is that I would love to find out what he's wearing. Like if I could find out who was in line. No, if I could find out from somebody who was in line way earlier and find out what he's wearing in the photos, I would love to go find the exact same outfit and like
really?
buy it and wear it.
Show up.
I think that would be hilarious. But
That's a really funny thought.
That's like a Nardwar move.
It would be hard to do.
It'd be
he
really
usually
hard
wears
to
like a
do.
wide brimmed hat, like a kind of hipster hat with his big thick glasses.
So what you should, I mean, I don't know if we can afford it this close to our wedding or whatever.
Yeah.
But you should just dress as Jeff Goldblum regardless of what he's wearing, because
Yeah.
that would be a funny idea too.
Yeah.
Just get like a picture of his face on your shirt. Like,
Yeah, I could do
Jeff
that too.
Goldblum.
That's a picture of Jeff Goldblum's face on your shirt would be really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you really want to ball out, this is going to be corny as hell, forgive me, but you get like a framed picture of his face and then you weld it onto an actual golden broomstick.
No.
Jeff Goldblum.
Wow.
And you present it to him.
I'd like to officially apologize to our listeners for that particular pun.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, so I think
buy it. I would
Jeff
buy
Goldblum t-shirt might be the way to go.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a lot of work for like it's not like I'm like so excited about
Can I
that
ask
idea.
what the context of you meeting him is?
Oh, he's just at Fan Expo, so he's you pay whatever and you get to take your photo with him.
Oh, okay.
By the way, it was insanely expensive.
Have you paid yet?
Yeah, I paid.
Wow. How much was it?
It was $140
Wow. Just for him?
just for his photo with him.
No way.
I couldn't not do it.
No, it's worth it. It's just
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm totally support that. That's just crazy. Yeah. It's crazy that's how much it is to take a picture with Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's the most expensive so far because I took one with Scully from X-Files.
How much was that?
$70.
That's more what I would expect.
Yeah, and I think that they are going up. I think maybe for Fan Expo reasons,
Do you know
the
why it might
prices
be?
are going
it
up
might be
too,
that they're
but-
trying to get people who don't do this and versus getting someone who's on the circuit, because people who go to these would know who's on the circuit and who's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And getting someone who's not on the circuit, you have to be like, hey, I know you don't do this,
Yeah.
but 5,000 people will give you 100.
Oh yeah, as much as I love Scully, she definitely is in the Fan Expo realm.
yeah, she works the
Whereas
circuit.
Jeff Goldblum is like an A-list actor.
Yeah,
you know
he's-
what I mean?
he's at
Like-
home
Scully
drinking
even
tea.
Done. Like we're not even. Like,
Hey, easy. She had a dope show on Netflix. I can't remember what it was called,
did
but I
she?
watched it. It was
I was gonna say,
good.
you bet you can't remember what it's called.
No, but it was really good.
yeah,
great.
she's been in something since, but yeah, like
Okay.
you're right. You're not wrong because
Yeah.
she hasn't been in a lot of
But
things.
neither has he. I don't know. It's
Yeah, he's in a lot of
no.
stuff.
He's in.
everything.
He's in. No. He's in a lot of things. I just mean.
I just watched Thor.
I was gonna say he was in Thor. He's the villain in Thor. He's in Portlandia.
You're right. Because I forgot about Portlandia is more what I was talking about. Because I forgot about Thor. Because when I saw him in Thor, I was like, oh, that's big money.
Yeah.
Because previous to Thor, it was more things like that where he would come
Yeah.
in as Jeff Goldblum,
Almost as himself,
and that's
yeah.
dope, and he's relevant, but. He's not making $100 million deals,
he
but
was
the
in
Thor
Jurassic
deal is a good
Park.
Yeah,
look.
he was on that
Oh, for
Netflix
sure. Yeah, no, I get
thing
it.
where he was Netflix. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's true.
He was like the voice of Netflix.
Listen, I'm wrong. Fine, I'll take it. I'll
Yeah,
take it.
he's
Jeff
great.
Goldblum, been killing it. Bank, been full. He's fine.
Yeah. He's coasting now. He
So-
did the climb and now he's.
You get to take a picture with Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah,
I'm excited about our bachelor party.
yeah. You're,
I'm
you're
excited
coming to
about that
right?
too. Yeah.
Sweet.
Janice and I confirmed.
We're not doing it the traditional way. So I love strippers. It's not that I don't fuck with strippers. I love titties. I personally feel that I can be a feminist but still enjoy
I have a story for you after about that.
voluntary titty showing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in saying that, I find strip clubs a little bit sad. And so if I'm going to go spend a boatload of money and have this really epic night, that to me, it just feels a little bit seedy and sad.
Yeah. I feel like strip clubs, the way you picture it, like the party that you picture is never what it
No, that's
actually
exactly
is.
what I
You know what I mean? You picture like being like, woo, and it's just like throwing money and like just like the girls are dancing and they're happy and excited and
There's
it's
no
never like
enthusiasm.
that. You
There's
know
no
what I mean?
enthusiasm.
Like,
Yeah, the movies portray it wrong.
Yeah.
There's
100%.
a lot more sad, fat truckers than they should.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
So we're switching it up, and also to be honest, because we're switching it up, my favorite person to get drunk with is you, and so we're just gonna do it together. And so we're gonna do a bachelor and a bachelorette, and instead of going to see sad naked titties, we're gonna go look at happy, excited titties and show our titties off and go party at a beach party where everybody's having fun and it's not sad, and I don't have to give anybody money to be enthusiastic because they're partying with their friends and we're partying with our friends, and it's vibes.
we should definitely name the episode like
Vibes.
something and happy titties.
Happy titties.
Happy tits.
And by the way, I don't mean like ogling and being gross. I just mean if I want to go be around attractive people,
Yeah.
there's more of them at this kind of party.
Yeah, no, it's true.
You know what I mean? And that's just, to me, is more fun. I don't feel weird. I don't feel embarrassed.
Better music.
I can Instagram
It's not
it.
like Def
No one's-
Leppard.
no one's getting exploited. Yeah. And
Wow.
now Brenda,
I hadn't even thought about the
fresh
music
from her
difference.
Yeah.
C-section.
Because that's a great point.
Yeah.
No one's stripping to God's plan.
No. Yeah.
And if they are, kudos. But I just mean,
Tay's probably listening to this right now and be like, yeah, they are.
yeah,
So I have a story for you guys, real quick, if we got time.
yeah, you do it.
Yeah, I was in Montreal this weekend, as I mentioned, and I wasn't trying to do anything. I didn't really tell anyone, so I just wanted to like stay home, kick it with my dad, you know, not do anything crazy. But his buddy had a show in the Fringe Festival, so there was a party that they were doing, and they were celebrating it, and it's like a lot of like super liberal intellectual types that all like are professors at Concordia, and like, you know, they argue at cafes on the weekend, like that's what they do. So I'm like, all right, this party's gonna be pretty chill. I get there, they're handing me drinks. Next thing I know, there's a fucking stripper.
What?
And she's just like doing this whole fucking routine in a room full of like college professors and shit. And I just give my
crazy.
dad this look like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom because I don't want to be in a room with you when this is happening. This is weird. And yeah, and then I
That's crazy.
saw.
Did she have a theme? Was she a themed stripper?
Well, it was like more burlesque than like anything else, but not really. She kind of looked like a pinup girl, like that aesthetic.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be right back.
That makes sense with
Yeah.
the burlesque thing.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I don't know. It was a little unusual, and then, I just wasn't expecting it. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be, you know, everyone's gonna be really like educated and sophisticated, and I'm gonna be the odd one out. And then I see glimpses of the actual show, and my dad's friend is dressed as a giant penis squirting confetti onto the crowd. Like, fuck, these people are 15. This is ridiculous.
Amazing.
It was, yeah.
Did Anthony ever tell you that I used to be a burlesque dancer?
No, he did
Yeah,
not.
he likes to joke that I used to be a stripper, but it is very different.
Yeah, it's very different.
I mean, there is stripping involved, I guess, but it's definitely a little bit more tame and like,
Oh, yeah.
it's more of like a party entertainment than like a seedy like sex entertainment. You know what I mean?
It's more performance art as opposed to just like.
Yeah, I have a joke in it in my stand-up where it's just like, oh yeah, I never got into the hard stuff, and then I'm like, literally, like I'm pretty sure girls dancing to like flapper music from the 1920s
Yeah.
doesn't make guys hard at all. Like,
With a little top hat. twirl.
yeah. Remember when you're like, oh, you never do your burlesque for me, and I was like, the minute you walked in the joint, bana, and you're like, yeah, you're right, that's not sexy at all.
Patricia is the greatest stripper in town.
With like it ripping off the pearls, like
Yeah, not sexy. Yeah, you want.
that's definitely what I did, by the way.
So
Like
that
that's
leads
100%
This leads me
accurate.
to a good question. Can we talk about twerking for a second?
Yeah.
You can twerk.
Yeah.
When you're single, girls be twerking.
Yeah.
But girls never twerk for their man except for as a joke.
It is kind of it is
You
You know what
kind
I'm
of a
saying?
weird thing.
So it's like a
And now
false.
I'm
It's like a
seeing-
false
I'm
information.
seeing Tay again
situation.
going, yeah, they do.
I'm not talking
I was
about.
gonna
I
stop
said,
you
I
until
said
you
their
said
man.
for a
I'm not talking
joke,
about a man. Because
Yeah,
a girl twerks for me, but no girl in a relationship is like, I'm a twerk for you. And to be honest, I'm okay with it
here,
because
by the way, you can't see the dog, but
Yeah.
I'm not like touching my leg ferociously.
you also are. We do other things with your ass. I just mean you don't twerk, even though you can, and even though, let's say we met at a club, you would as a way of like flirting with me.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's kind of a weird thing because it's like, I guess if we have music on in the living room and the music's like trappy, like with the beat that I could really, I guess I could, but I don't know. It's just a weird thing to just be like, watch this and just like do it all of a
But
sudden.
in rap
you know what I
videos,
mean?
for
what my
example,
girl does,
the guy will be in the bed and two girls just be twerking, and I'm like, that looks nice. But in the real world, they probably
doesn't
wouldn't be
happen.
doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my girl will literally like, I'll be watching something and then she'll like walk out of her room to go to the bathroom or something, and she'll stop and just deadpan stare at me and then just start twerking for no reason.
See?
And then go to the bathroom.
Wow. So Myer
See,
gets it.
that's really the only way you can do it, though.
Yeah.
Is that not kind of silly, though?
No, yeah, she's being
It's
silly.
completely
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah,
but
it's
she's being
silly.
silly.
fucking cute as
So
I just feel
I'll
a little,
twerk for
I feel a
you.
little bit lied to. I just feel
sorry.
like maybe for here's a theoretical scenario. I'm sitting on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Bow, 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 bow. No, and then you come out in like maybe a little outfit.
So the Seinfeld theme is playing?
I was gonna say what?
No, I was trying to do.
Let's-
I've been feeling
let's get it on, yeah. But it was definitely more sound. Do the sound. 'Cause I know you could do it.
What?
Like whatever, like the sound at the end.
Boom, boom.
Oh, I can't do it.
Yeah, you can. You've done it before.
Have I?
Yeah, in this song that we use for this podcast.
Oh, you mean that?
Like the... Wait,
yeah,
what am I doing?
yeah, it's something
Oh,
like that.
fuck.
I don't even
Anyways,
fucking remember.
Seinfeld theme.
Doom.
Yeah, there you go. You
This
got
is
it.
the saddest
Wow,
15
Jess, great
seconds
great
of my
idea.
life.
Great idea, Jess.
I thought it would go way better.
Really nailed that. What were we talking about?
Twerking.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So in my
twerking
in my
Seinfeld
scenario,
theme.
you come out in like a sexy outfit, and then you put on some music,
Yeah.
and then you twerk.
There's also only like so long I can do it. It is
Yeah,
very like,
yeah,
you know what I
you
mean?
do
Like
it-
I
you
can
do
only do
it-
it for like 10,
You do it as
20
like
seconds.
in
Like,
showing of your feathers before you like hop on pop or whatever.
How much twerking do you think went down at the Pride Festival this weekend?
oh, a lot.
Lots.
Okay, let me
I
tell
bet, I bet,
that
I
actually
bet
is a
lesbians
great,
twerk for each other.
Throw that
though.
Yes,
boy
so
pussy.
that's actually a great segue into something that happened to me a few years ago. I was working at a Pride event. I was actually working for Smart Car. So it was just our job to like take selfies of the people, and then we tried to get them to hashtag like Smart Pride or something like that. It was something weird like that.
Reaching off.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And so we had a smart car in a booth where people could like go in and see what it's like and turn on the radio and stuff like that. But at nighttime we had a DJ, and essentially at nighttime they were like, oh, so now your job is to be security to make sure people don't dance up on the car and stuff, like because it was supposed to be fun and we were supposed to have everybody dancing, but they're like, make sure people don't like climb on the car and dance. People were twerking, or it's more so daggering, I guess. Do you guys know what daggering
I don't know what
is?
daggering is.
So daggering, I think it's popular in
that
like
twerking with your dick?
like Jamaican culture and stuff. It's essentially like fucking but with clothes on. So the girls just like really like slamming really
yeah,
hard.
I
There's like
know
videos of guys like
Slam
pumping
fuck
girls
dancing.
like off a balcony and things
Wow,
like that.
sexy.
Yeah. So
I've seen
basically people were doing that, and it was like like girls on girls doing that, guys on guys doing that, girls on guys, guys on guys on girl. Like it was like an
Girls on
orgy
guys, guys
with
on
people's
girls,
clothes
girls on
on, and it was
guys on
kind of
guys on
beautiful, but at the same time I was playing security, so I was like, don't dent the car with your butts. Stop. Like I was just like, I was the bummer. I was the narc in this situation.
Get your dick away from the transmission.
But it was a crazy
Try
hype
not to
party.
twerk on this
So,
workout.
in short, yes, at Pride there was a ton of twerking and daggering going on.
My doggers.
Yeah.
I got the moves like dag.
Moves like dagger.
I like it.
Yeah, it's the dance hall remix.
Yeah, totally.
Are you sad you're not doing as much for Pride this year?
Yeah, we've just had a really busy weekend. If somebody, even tonight is like the big night. If somebody messages me tonight,
Brandy's performing tonight. Do you know that?
I knew that she was performing
We
at
missed
Pride.
Kaylani's performance.
Don't even talk
You
about
guys
it.
didn't go?
No, we didn't. We had so much work to do.
Yeah, and we
And
were
we left-
like day drunk from after your release
Yeah.
party and stuff, and we
So
were
it came
just
home
like,
and we worked.
Sorry,
But we missed Kaylani, and then
And actually, the real reason was because they said she was on between 5 and 11 p.m. and
Yeah.
they don't tell you what time. We
Yeah.
assume that she's on towards the end, but
Yeah.
you don't really. You'd have to kind of sit there in the like
I'm not going to
half
wait
rain.
around that bullshit.
I'm not crazy about waiting in crowds for
And it
hours.
was
on end.
raining.
And it was raining. There's a lot of reasons why.
I don't like
But
crowds
Brandy
in
is
general.
performing tonight. If you're trying to be down there and priding it up,
Yeah.
Because certainly, I'll tell you this: even if you're only a B plus Brandy fan, I'll tell you who's not a B plus Brandy fan: gay people, and they're going to be so excited. So it's
Yeah.
going to be really lit.
No, totally.
You know what I mean? When she sings like "Sitting on Top of the World," It's gonna
Sitting
get
on top of
crazy.
the
I don't
world.
know any Brandy songs.
Oh, you don't know? You was sitting up in my room. Oh, Brandy got some hits.
Yeah.
When
Have you ever is a slow
she
one.
sings "The Boy Is Mine,"
The boy is mine.
the gay men
Do the Monica part?
are going to freak out.
Oh, okay. I was like, who does the Monica
They
part?
are going to freak out.
Does she just do it all?
My guess is that she probably does either at
like
all,
a
or
call
she has
and
the crowd do it.
response almost,
Maybe
yeah.
I don't know. I've never been to a Brandy show. I now feel like maybe I should go. I'm not sure about that yet, but
I wonder if she sings any of the songs from the Cinderella movie she was in.
no, Jessica. You know what?
It's
You're
a
no longer
joke.
permitted to go to a Brandy concert.
You've been kicked out just for
She's
that.
got actual hit songs.
But I'm just saying, I
Did
was
you know
a
that
big
Brandy
fan.
killed somebody?
What?
Yeah, no, I
That's
did.
where she went.
Yeah.
Was it with her car?
Yeah, it was very sad.
Drink and drive?
I'm not sure.
She hit somebody
but
with
I
a car
know
and
that
killed
she,
them.
Yeah.
Right at the peak of her career. And she essentially voluntarily retired for multiple
sad.
years because she's very religious, and I think she just had a ton of guilt about it.
Yeah.
And
you
then
kill
she
someone
eventually
with a
came
car, that's
back.
gonna fuck someone up.
Yeah, unless of course you're what's her face?
Oh,
Who?
Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn Jenner. She seems pretty cool with it.
Yeah.
She seems like she just kept on moving, like no sweat.
Oh, yeah.
Does Caitlyn even know she killed somebody with her car?
No. Bruce killed someone. Caitlyn is
Yeah.
completely innocent.
Yeah, she moved the line of when she became Caitlyn to just after, so that
Yeah.
that's funny.
That's fucked up. Oh, man.
Yeah, no.
Gives a whole new meaning to
If you ever hit anybody with your car, it's traumatizing.
Yeah.
Because I once turned a corner and a person ran in front of my car, jumped on my hood. I'll take 50% of the blame here. I'm not saying it's all on them, but they were acting crazy. And then they hit the ground, and he's like, the dude yelled, he hit me with his car. Even though I did not hit him with my car at all. He fucking ran the red, and he jumped on my hood. Yeah, fuck that dude.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was a really traumatizing experience. Like it's like anytime
Yeah,
you have
no
any
doubt.
kind of those, like I can't imagine the feeling you would have. I watched a show on Netflix today. I can't remember what it's called. It's a girl's name, starts with M, but it's one of those weird names like I've never
Monica.
heard of anybody with this name before. Marigold or some shit.
Marie-Thérèse.
But it's this British lady, and in the show, a car like drives over a girl and then slowly backs over her again. And my brain will melt forever with this
No,
image.
I don't like that.
It's like stuck in my head. I can't get it out. And I have to share it with you guys because then I feel like maybe I'll get it out a little bit.
You guys ever scratched napkins and gotten like a really ugly sensation?
No.
Okay, that's just me.
Scratch
No, I know what
napkins
you
is your
mean.
DJ name,
It's kind
though.
of like cotton balls. Have you ever had that like
Oh,
thing?
yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I know. It's
Okay,
gross.
Scratch Napkins and DJ Cotton Balls is your DJ names, if you were wondering.
Scratch napkin in the building.
Scratch Napkins. My name is Scratch
Fancy a
Napkins.
napkin in my back pocket in case I do a little bit of accident. So I scratch a napkin.
How much time we got left?
We got like 20 minutes. Do you want to talk about park life for a second?
Park life? Like
Park
our like hanging out in the
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
let's
been.
do it.
It's been a huge part of our lifestyle lately. I feel like if we don't talk about it, we're almost lying to the
We
listeners.
don't do enough park chillings.
Well, we've gone separate several times and invited you, and even when you were out of town, we sent an invite to your lady because we thought even if Myer's not around, we love Janice and we thought she might come by.
She's down too.
You guys were both busy on all of these
always
occasions. It's not a problem.
Well, he came to the one.
You did come to one time,
The one-
my
yeah.
dude. But yeah, we've been hanging out in Trinity, Bellwoods here in Toronto. But not, I mean, for listeners, we recommend you go to your park because when we're in Europe, we also hang out at other parks because park life is fantastic.
Check out your local park.
Well, yo, you say that as a joke, but do you know how many grown people probably forgot that that's awesome to go hang out at a park like that?
Yeah.
Because I forgot.
I think it depends on the city that you're in too, because there's definitely somewhere it wouldn't be as much of a vibe as like Trinity.
But we live in
Bellwoods.
Canada. It's where it's,
Well, for example,
the weather's the
in
shittiest,
Welland,
so.
there's none of that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you'd be alone hanging out. There might be some dogs.
Yeah,
running
so
around,
small
but,
towns are
like,
different because there's not enough
yeah.
people for coolness. But I
Yeah.
bet you, for example, Montreal has
for all
some
you
parks with some vibes.
sophisticated city folk that
Sophisticated.
What is there like a park in Montreal where everyone hangs out?
Oh yeah, well, there's this giant communal chilling that happens every Sunday on the mountain.
I went to it once.
Yeah, it's called Tams.
I went to
Yeah,
it. It's
everyone-
really cool.
cool.
There's like a million hippies.
Bring your own
playing
booze,
Tams.
outdoor drinking.
Yeah. Everyone's
Nice.
chilling. There's just so much space for everybody. Everyone goes. If you go further into the woods, there's LARPing.
Nice.
There's like people walking these fucking tight ropes that are tied to trees.
Yeah,
Everyone's
we saw that
smoking
at
weed.
Trinity.
Yeah, we have that too.
Yeah.
The popsicle man
And
roams around selling.
So it's big cities. So
Frosty
Amsterdam
goods.
has, what's the park called? Do you remember?
Vondel Park.
Vondel Park?
Yeah.
Same thing. It's like, there's no tight walking on the fucking rope, but the park is full of people drinking, smoking, vibing,
Is
music.
that the sex park?
That's the park. So what's cool about Vondel Park? Say it.
That you're legally allowed to have sex in it.
AKA Fondle Park.
Yeah.
But my favorite part about that law
Yeah.
is it's not an old law where you can still have sex in Vondel
No,
Park.
they recently made
They
it.
recently made it legal to
And
have
do you know
sex
what
in
you
Vondel
can't do?
Park.
No, you can't do
The other stuff I said?
anything
What
else.
stuff?
You
Yeah.
can't.
You can't smoke, can't drink.
Yeah, you can't smoke, can't drink, can't have your dog off
But
a
you
leash.
do. I did. It was fine.
Yeah, we did, and it was fine. But yeah, apparently people were mad because there's like no designated dog area,
No
but you
designated
can fuck.
fucking area. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can fuck anywhere in the park.
Can you do butt stuff in the park?
I'm sure you
They
can.
They said
It's like
fucking.
crossing
They
the
didn't.
line.
They didn't specify which hole.
Okay.
So
I'm just trying to think of like the fucking nastiest shit you could do.
pending any new bylaws, I believe you can just do it. Do what you need to do.
Did it say like
Bump
discreetly or anything in this law?
I don't recall that. I just
Because I
remember
mean,
saying
could you be
it's
like
legal.
like in the middle of the park,
Like
just
right
fucking
in the
like?
middle. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you legally can, but people will fuck with you, so you won't.
Can you just lay there naked?
I think so.
Probably.
So you could also just be naked.
Can you masturbate? Because
Interesting. Can you self-fuck?
Yeah.
That's a great question because it's creepy if you just masturbate.
Yeah. Right.
Imagine if every day a guy went to the park and masturbated.
Just beat
It'd
off.
be bad for the park. Like the park energy would just be
Yeah,
not good.
no, it's true.
Like no one, like never, you never
become
go
a-
around one.
I would
You
never
become
go
a
to the park
landmark,
if people
though.
masturbated there. I would never go. If people fuck there, I wouldn't care. But
Right? Isn't that weird? So
Yeah.
someone fucks themselves.
Well, no, but
but they usually need a source material to masturbate.
yeah. So,
So
but even if they didn't, even if they were just sitting and like looking up at the sky.
yeah, exactly. Doesn't that sound insane?
Yeah, it
No,
would
they would be looking at a person or
No,
at
but
their
even if,
phone
but
or
I'm saying
whatever.
even if they were looking up at the sky, the masturbating itself would be
Jesus is the only
unsettling.
porn I need.
No, you
That
know
would be
what? If we
unsettling.
lived in a world where
looks like titties.
No,
where
you
people
wouldn't go to that
never
park,
jerked
though.
off to me on the subway, that never
That
happened.
doesn't happen.
It happened to me once.
It's happened.
Yeah.
but it
I
doesn't
know
happen.
a couple girls who
It
had
happens
weirdos.
every day.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm saying we go every day and we're never worried.
No,
Like,
it doesn't
oh,
happen to me
careful.
every day, but it happens to women.
Check for a jerker just in
Let me
case.
finish my point.
Sure.
If this did not exist and this wasn't a thing that women go through at least once in their lives,
They do. I know they do.
then I think that if somebody was laying on their back, looking up at the sky, jerking off, I think I'd be okay with it. But unfortunately, that's not the case. It does
Fair enough.
You're
exist
right. No,
in
you're
a
right.
negative way. You know,
Yeah.
In a world where that other thing
If
didn't
public
ever
masturbation didn't have such a stigma to it,
It's kind of true though. If it didn't have shitty people ruining it, then I'd be okay with.
happen. Shitty people have ruined public
Public
masturbation.
masturbation.
It's true.
I'm bringing it back.
It's true because hey,
How? So here's the question: how can we class up and bring back public masturbation?
You'd have to have a pride festival.
Is it a public masturbation pride festival? Is that what it is?
Yeah, where
Is it a
everyone
parade?
cleans up
Is it a
after
parade of
themselves.
jerkers?
Yeah, it's a fucking.
How would you? I can't last that long.
It's a very short parade.
just like half a block.
Yeah. Well, I could go a block.
Yeah, and then it starts up in an hour again, and then
Yes. It goes one block every hour with little breaks.
it's so fucking disgusting.
Gross. The cleanup crew.
Oh, fuck
God.
me.
Yeah, it's a living.
Yeah.
Police aren't welcome to that festival either. They've never really been there for us public masturbators.
It's not really the festival you bring your kids to.
Oh boy, is that where we leave it?
I think we do. Yeah.
Okay.
On that controversial opinion.
Boy. Yeah.
We love you. I want all other public masturbators to come forward with us and really be part of this movement of classy public masturbation.
Yeah.
I'm Ill Vibe. We out. Say your pieces too, of course.
Myer Clarity is Myer Clarity on all platforms. Thanks again to lyricvids.com.
Go listen to my album. It's called Not All Heroes Wear Capes. And if you don't listen to it, I'm going to punch you in the dick while you masturbating in Vondel Park.
What song should we play? We'll play it right now instead of our out theme.
Oh, sweet. Play Rags to Dishes.
And goes. I'm gonna butcher it before we play it. Okay. Bye.
Now we have to let it roll for a little bit because now we have to do the whole thing here. It's like this is where the song is playing right now.
Yeah.
This goes out to all my dish dogs. All my kitchen crew.
Yeah, I wake up 45 minutes late, hungover, what a way to start the day off. I ain't really had much sleep since my day off. Boss is telling me one more time and I'm laid off. Hey y'all, live across the city, hop the train up a Dufferin. This shit is always late, either stuck up in these tunnels. Don't know why I even bother with this shit, it's out my budget. This minimum wage lifestyle is the toughest. Walking through the door, half comatose, say hello to so-and-so. What you mean a grease trap? trap overflow. No, you don't. I ain't mopping mid-rush. Hold the phone. Who the hell stacked these? Come on, guys, form a row. Glasses on the lower shelf, plates on the upper one. Yeah, I know I'm late. Goddamn, are you fucking dumb? What you mean there's no rags? When the hell does laundry come? Haven't showed up. They have one job to do.
Rags to riches and right back to rags. I never had no riches, and fuck it, I'm glad. Let's have a toast to all the people trying to make a living. Can't stand the heat, stay out the kitchen, and I'ma get high with my shipping. It's all I've ever known.
I'd have mopped a million floors, printed one of many resumes, a trade all the sriracha I stole to live like yesterday. My eyes getting duller, crow's feet getting evident. Quarter life crisis in a t-shirt getting hella blazed. Finally mellowed out, now I'm working through these moats and mudslides. Hungover gut rot that most couldn't describe. You know, in a strug life, I'm just trying to clock out before this rush dies. Most people never give the dish dog no time of day. Cleaning rich folks' plates, what a waste, man, he barely even tried the steak. I'm just saying, I got shit to do. Much as I love kitchen crew, I got bigger shoes to fill, and I'ma get them too. So before I fuck the new girl in the drawer storage, I'ma grab one last drink with you.
I went
Cheers.
from rags to riches and right back to rags. I never had no riches, and fuck it, I'm glad. Let's have a toast to all the people trying to make a living. Can't stand the heat, stay out the kitchen, and I'ma get high with my shipping. It's all I've ever known. It's all I've ever known. Yeah, it's all I've ever known.
Can't stack this way. Glasses go on the bottom, plates on the top, everything else on the bottom shelf. If shit breaks, it's not my fault. Don't worry about my own shit working on. I've got this fucking shit over here, and fucking this guy doesn't even speak any fucking English. Oh, fuck this shit. Yo, you got a cigarette at the corner on you?